The bad news is, if you throw your tee shot long at the 13th hole here at the Preserve Championship, connected by Microsoft Teams, you lose that disc in the Mississippi River. The good news is, if it's a disc that floats, you've got about 90 days to catch up with it before it floats out into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, while you're fact-checking me, I'm welcoming you to this edition of Tournament Central from Clearwater, Minnesota. Grant Zellner alongside Nate Perkins. Nate, it's been an action-packed morning, especially given our early fears that weather would slow us down. Nothing of the sort. In fact, a rocket-fast start from one of the very first cards on the course this morning in the FPO field. Missy Ganon pacing the way with a blistering 10 under par. You were out there, Nate, watching the action. What are your thoughts about that pace to start things off?
Well, rain woke us up this morning about 7 o'clock. I'm camped right over by Missy Ganon, and she was up early, and, it was tough to warm up because the rain was still coming down. But as soon as her round started, just after 8 a.m., I believe, no rain rest of the day. And it still hasn't rained. All week, all everyone could talk about was the conditions. So Missy certainly took advantage of it. She got hole 1, parred the second, got hole 3, and then she only got one birdie out of the next 6 holes. So it's not like she started hot fire, Grant. It wasn't until that birdie on number 10, and then she backs it up on number 11 right here. Goes on to get number 12 for the first turkey of the day. Scoring here at the Black Bear course, most of it was found on the back 9, but even with that fact, 7 down is a scorching back for Ganon, and she's doing it with those, again, flat thrasher shots. Here she goes. She's just going to tone back on this thrasher right here. She's 315 out, and she's just so good at controlling the speed with the same disc. There she is connecting on a nice putt on the 16th. She ended up closing with the turkey, Grant. So she gets 16. Then check this out. She's even going to go thrasher here. I mean, we're talking sub 300 foot. And just look at the amount of speed control that Missy has. She kind of gets her body out of the way on those little Anheisers. And then she closes it out with a 45-footer on the 18th for her second turkey of the day. And the thing is, Grant, she shot that 10 under par. And the first and second feature card, they're just halfway through the round. Actually, might have even been hole 8 that we started hearing Holland, Cat Merch, and Paige Pierce talk about what Missy Ganon had done to get herself to 10 under par.
So mission accomplished for Missy if her goal was to put a little pressure on even in the very early going of this 3-round tournament. Let's hear in her own words what it was like getting off to that half start early this morning.
All right, Missy Ganon joining us in the clubhouse today. Missy, you shot 10 down. Tell us about the round out there.
Yeah, I was on the first tee time out, which hasn't happened for a little while, but for anybody that knows me, I practice between 7:30 and 8 a.m. almost every practice round. So mentally and physically, I was really prepared for that to happen. And I love it because I get to play with people that I haven't played with before. And, we had such good vibes and I got to meet new people. And it was just a nice little walk in the park.
Talk about how those early morning practice rounds might prepare you for, especially a day like today where you're first card out. Where is that giving you an advantage, you think, over the field?
Yeah, I think, one, it prepares me for the possibility of having the randomly drawn 8 a.m. tee time, first tee time out. But also, honestly, it kind of played into today where we didn't have to wait on any hole. So we were, getting to the tee pad, taking score, and right away we're off and running. So that's, again, what it's like when I practice that early. So, no waiting around, no getting cold. It was something that I really prefer and I really like. But, I can manage the backups, but it was nice to not have to deal with them today.
Yeah, talk about how maybe that might help keep you in rhythm. Is that an important part of your game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's so important to not just kind of sit on a tee pad for maybe 5 minutes. It is part of the game, so it is what it is, but it definitely helps to keep moving and cruise along.
All right, that's Missy Ganon, who shot 10 down today. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Nate, Missy Gannon setting that pace so early on that by the time we were following those final few cards, it looked like they were well behind the pace that they needed to be that. But
Mhm.
they had a chance to close out strong as well, and several of them did, led by Holland Handley. Also a really strong closing stretch of holes, went 7 down. Starting at hole number 8, I believe it
Mhm.
was, with no bogeys coming in. That's the way it looks like you're going to have to do it over the course of the weekend here. What did you like in what you saw in Holland's follow up to her excellent weekend last week?
Yeah, it took Holland a little bit to find the putter. She was kind of leaking things left out early. This was a beautiful kind of nose up stall shot on the third, but that was her first birdie of the day, and she didn't get her second one until this approach right here. This is the new par 4 on number 8. Throws this hyzer into the circle there, and Holland just has such a big advantage on some of the longer, par 4s out here. She was the only player in the field to get number 15. But what I noted from today's round was just how much Missy was kind of living in the mind of Holland. She's not one to check the scores, but after she heard Pierce talking about what Missy was doing, you could actually hear Holland was trash talking Missy, knowing that Missy's back at her trailer watching on DGN. So they were having a lot of fun out there. And each time Holland would make a birdie, she would kind of mouth off like, "Hey, I'm coming for you, Missy. This is a beautiful putt." Back up the hill on number 14, the rest of her card, 2 and 3 putted the hole. And then here's Holland for the only birdie on number 15. It was playing as the second hardest hole on the course. She said it was her best drive out of all the practice rounds. She threw it well past 400 feet, and then she just had that 300-foot hyzer in there. She was on the same path as Missy Ganon. She just had a birdie, 17 and 18. She went on to par both of those. So I think Holland's feeling exceptionally well about her 8 under par today.
Well, let's hear about it in her own words. Holland Handley right after the round.
Holland Handley, 8 under par. Talk about how it felt.
It felt a little slow to start. Honestly, I missed a couple of early birdie putts. Just took a little bit to get settled, but it was really clean. When I did make mistakes, they didn't cost me any bogeys, and the putting picked up there towards the end, so I was able to get some birdies anyway.
Yeah, where do you think most of the scoring lies on this course?
I don't know. I probably the shorter holes are kind of more early, because like 2 and 3, if you get through there clean, are very gettable. So is 5. But there's a couple, like 6 can really like wreck your front 9, and then I feel like 14 and 15 can really wreck your back 9. So I think it's pretty spread throughout the scoring opportunities.
And Missy Ganon kind of set the bar early. Like I think I heard you talking about it. You guys were making some jokes midway through the round. You were aware of her score, correct?
Yeah, I never check, but Paige said something on 8 that she was like 9 down through 17. She's been talking a little smack to me yesterday, so hearing that, and then I got a turkey right after. I was like, okay, because we're just trash talking this week.
Well, so you were on pace to tie her, and talk about the way you finished on 17 and 18.
Yeah, 17, I liked the angle, speed, height, everything out of the hands, just pulled a little bit to the right, so grabbed that tree, and then I ended up in the bunker throwing my third across the water on 18. Which I stuck with what I'd been doing when I landed on the flat, and I think with the sand kind of robbing me of having a good brace, I think if I land there tomorrow, I'll go fairway driver and try to aim it maybe 20 feet out to the right to get a little extra distance.
Cool. Thanks, Holland. We'll
Yep.
see you tomorrow on that lead card.
Thank you.
More of those that'll be playing from the lead card tomorrow. Maria Oliva and Owen Scoggins. They've created a little bit of a gap over the rest of the field. Nate, some quick thoughts on the two of them and the rounds that they put together and what you expect out of Maria and Owen heading into Saturday?
Well, Owen said she could only do as good as 1 to 3 under par maybe per day. And I got to stop listening to her on these pre-tournament interviews, because that's all she ever says is that everyone else is going to do better than her. And she's still the highest rated FPO player in the field this weekend. She said that she needed to putt well to shoot as good as the rest of the ladies in her division, and she did just that today. She made a couple from C2 late in the round, and she finds herself at 6. So I think when she looks at the scorecard, sees that she's on the lead card, she might change her attitude. And then Maria Oliva, she's had a tough season. By this time last year, she had already been inside the top 10 several times. She finished with over a handful of top 10s last year. She's only finished inside the top 10 once this season, with a 4th at Jonesboro. So she's missed cash at over half the events she's played this year. And it leaves a lot of fans at home kind of scratching their heads, because when you watch her play, her technique is there. The putting stroke is certainly there. Probably one of the, more confident looking putt deliveries in the FPO division. Taking a look at it there, she's added a little bit of a pitch nature to it out there at the edge of C1, but she was blistering hot today, 8 down through 12, and lackluster finish, but she still finds herself on the lead card, and this is a big moment for Maria to turn her season around.
After the break, Tournament Central previews the MPO action, which we will enjoy all afternoon right here on the Disc Golf Network. Stay tuned.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Throw your Disc Golf Warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, shirts, and more. GottaThrow.com has all the tools to take your game to the next level. Shop online or our Golden Valley, Minnesota store. Free shipping with all online orders over $75. Online or in-store, get what you need for the game you love. GottaThrow.com, your disc golf warehouse. In the game since 1993.
I'm David Wiggins, and in 2016, I set the disc golf world distance record with a throw of 1,108 feet. Whether I'm out in the field measuring a max distance throw, or on the course checking the elevation change for an upshot, I rely on the Eagle Secret 360 to give me accurate distances. It's the only rangefinder on the market that measures in feet, yards, and meters. It's USB-C rechargeable and features a lithium-ion battery. Visit EagleSecret360.com to get yours today.
Microsoft Teams is presenting the 2024 Preserve Championship and offering a new community platform for disc golf fans. Scan the QR code on your screen to join the Disc Golf Tour Talk Teams community. Members will have until Monday to ask last year's champs, Katrina Allen and Ricky Wysocki, a question for a chance to win a disc and a free year of DGN. Kat and Ricky will be answering questions in that community next week. And if that sounds great, but you just can't wait another second to hear from Ricky Wysocki, don't worry. We're going to hear from him right now on Tournament Central, along with the hottest player in the world, Ganon Buhr.
13 years in a row now, you've at least had one win, Elite Series or National Tour, and you've yet to do it this year. What would it mean to you to continue that streak?
Yeah, I mean, it's something obviously I'm striving for week in and week out, and I've been very close, a lot of times this year. And so that that alone gives me confidence. Obviously, I haven't got across that line to get the win, but it's something where I know where my game's at right now, and I feel really good with where it's at. It's like I said, I've gotten a lot of top fives and way too many second places this year. But once again, like I said, it's right there. I'm in position a lot of weeks, and that's what it takes. This day and age of the game, there's a lot of good players, and it's all about keeping yourself in contention week in and week out. And if you do that, you're gonna get yourself into position where you take advantage of that. And so I know I'm the type of player where I feed off confidence, and so I'm pretty confident right now, and that's that's going to lead to a win.
I think I have a good case for being the best player in the world. I think if I get another win or play solid a couple more tournaments, I think that'll kind of cement it, at least for like this part of the tour. Obviously, when you look at the entire year, we still have half the year left, so a lot of tournaments left. But like this part of the season, I'm feeling like I'm definitely up there.
Well, Perk, let's start with Ganon Buhr here. He swept the events in Oregon. With a victory this weekend, he would become the first player, I think, dating back to Macbeth back in 2019 to take 3 in a row that are at the Elite Series level, or you could throw a major in there perhaps, but still 3 in a row is really something in this day and age on the Disc Golf Pro Tour with the talent level of the field at large. What are you seeing in Ganon's game? What are you expecting from Ganon's game this weekend at the Preserve?
Well, Ian Anderson has really said it best over the past month that he makes greatness look repeatable. I just really don't see any holes in Ganon's disc golf game right now. I think that to repeat, to go 3 in a row is really difficult to do. And right now, Grant, with the conditions being what they are, the rain is holding off and the wind was down, you have to go extremely low. Last year, Ricky shot 15 to open the tournament, ends up shooting 37. That's 37 under on 54 holes. So I don't necessarily think if it's a question of can Ganon like play good disc golf this weekend. It's just a matter of is someone else going to play better, because that's what it is right now. It's an open 100-meter race, and it doesn't matter if you're the fastest guy. If you don't get out of the blocks early, you still might lose the race in Eugene. You still might not be going to the Paris Olympics. So Ganon has to get out of those blocks early, and he has to lay down, honestly, a 12 to 14 under par if you want to stay in this weekend's race, Grant.
Well, let's go now to Ricky Wysocki, a player that's been trending upward. We know how great Ricky is in terms of consistency, both the way he puts together consistent finishes over the course of a year and just consistency in terms of his career. To your point, though, you got to be great, and you got to be great often in order to take down victories. He's trending in the right direction, took 3rd at the Portland Open, took 2nd at the Beaver State Fling. What's in store for Ricky if he wants to go out and take down his first win of 2024?
Yeah, same situation. I mean, the putter is really falling for Ricky right now, and it's just a matter of being clean off the tee and giving himself looks. And clearly he's shown us he can do that before. These highlights are just unbelievable from Ricky's final round last year. I mean, if he's putting like that, it's no surprise that he can shoot around like 15 under par, Grant, at a DGPT course that's unheard of. One of his highest rated rounds on the Pro Tour at 1081. And people are scoring out there. I mean, Sullivan tipped in 11 under. Isaac Robinson nearly blanking out the front right now. So same as Ganon, Ricky's going to have to get out of those blocks early. Taking a look at this leaderboard right now. 12 through 16, Kyle Klein just takes the solo lead, but we've got a number of guys that are pushing the double-digit mark, and we have half the MPO still out there, Grant.
Already there, Isaac Robinson pushing double digits under par, and he's barely halfway through his round. So that absolutely illustrates the point you're making, Nate, about pace being a concern for the players, even in the very early going of this championship. And after they make that turn, they'll hit hole number 11. We want to take a look at hole number 11 because not only is it a great spot for the crowd, it's a great opportunity for the players. Check this out from last season.
Yeah, starting off with Conrad going deep on that one. That leaves him quite a bit of a death putt. Girthy likes it. Here's Garrett. He's going to slow it down with the rock and just kind of stall this one onto the pin. Flashes. Oh, it hits the top.
I remember that.
Oh, I forgot. I thought he flashed it, but it hits the flag. He can't believe it. And then we had Luke Taylor, who's having a really good weekend, and here he is up next. Little late core action on that mid-range, and look at the pace on that one, just in front of the basket on the bullseye. And if you guys remember, this is where Ricky threw it so wide, everyone thought he was out of bounds. He ends up safe right here, and then he dunks it. And Fern can't believe it. Ricky is doing his raptor legs all the way around in front of the crowd. That's quite the moment on one of the signature holes out here at the Black Bear course.
And Ricky's reaction there also proving the importance of pace, knowing that he needed to match his card mates. He was a part of the lead card there about halfway through the tournament last year, and he knew that was maybe not a must make, but a very important putt from length, looking overhead here at the full course. And I believe we've got Kayla Viska walking us through some of the changes that we're going to see over the course of these 18 holes at the Preserve. Let's check that out.
Hey y'all, I'm Kale Leviska, the course designer and founder here at the Preserve. We're standing on the tee of hole 8. This is one of the 2 holes that have changed this year a little bit for the Black Bear layout. So we thought we'd walk you through them. Let's go check them out. If you want to shorten your distance, then you got to cut it close to the water's edge. But the safe play is obviously to throw as far away from the water as possible, but that puts you further away from the basket, so I think this is a perfect placement. There's a couple different motivations. First, I loved the old green up there, but we're so close to the pavilion hole, which is one of like the most popular viewing spots on the property. But it's tucked up in the trees up there, so you couldn't see it from any of the bleachers or any place by the pavilion. So that was the main motivation, was to kind of make it more visible for all the spectators that are at the pavilion and all across the lake here. It's obviously possible. If we get the perfect wind, some of these guys are capable of it on their biggest throws. Will it happen? I really doubt it. I don't know if the risk is totally worth the reward, but as you can see, the tee is in direct line of the basket, and all you gotta do is clear this pond, so it might tempt, it might tempt AB or some of these guys, I guess we'll see. Playing the entire hole right along this pond is obviously very picturesque. It views great, it plays tough, so I think it's a great change. Here we are on hole 10's tee. This is another one of the changes for 2024. The tee is exactly the same. We have a huge open fairway. This is the shot that people can just throw it as far as they possibly want off the tee. But then it really gets technical on the second shot because we have a new basket location. So we'll go check that out. Before, again, the big arms, after they threw a big drive, could just kind of blast their second shot and just try to get over the creek. There wasn't a lot of accuracy required for them, but now what we did is we brought the basket over to the same side of Victoria's Creek as the tee is, so it really pinches up here. We got the creek line and the sidewalk that kind of create a pinch point, and then you actually have essentially an island green up here, where you got to hit a line in between these oaks to get to the basket.
No.
Give it to him.
Way. Are you kidding me?
Like you said, the only time you see Simon smiling is if he does something really bad or really good.
I can't even explain how happy it makes me. It's more just about seeing all of my peers here. Like every year, that's what gets me most excited. It's like when we built this place, we had the dream of creating this disc golf sanctuary, but then to have the pro tour here, to have all my friends that I've been playing with on tour, having the best players in the world here, enjoying it, camping out, swimming, fishing, enjoying the disc golf. It really just makes all that work that we did getting this place open a few years ago, it just makes it all worth it. I mean, this is magical.
One more look at the scores as we sit right now heading into coverage of the afternoon round. The question, not that this scoreboard will get more crowded at the top. The question, who will be there at the end of day number 1? Kyle Klein setting the pace now, 13 under with 1 hole to play. We'll be back to wrap things up after this afternoon's round here from the Preserve.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Midwest. With Tour has arrived at a disc golfer's paradise located just off the banks of the Mississippi River. This is the Preserve Championship connected by Microsoft Teams. Trying to etch their name on the trophy, the big bear there, and well, it feels like Ganon Buhr has done everything but put his name on that bear thus far as Ganon gets ready to kick off his round. Welcome in, everyone. Terry Miller joined alongside three-time world champ Nate Doss, also Beaver State Fling participant. Nate, back in the booth, and you saw it firsthand. You were there to play, and of course, it was a whole other story, and so many accolades and congrats for being out there and coming back. But you also had conversations with the likes of Ganon Buhr recently, face to face.
Yeah.
What are we seeing?
You know, absolutely. I got to see Ganon in Portland as well as out at Milo MacGyver, and you know he's a really special young person. And in fact, I even told him, I said, man, this year I think you really have a chance to become world champion. And I was saying that with all sincerity. This kid, he's figured out the winning recipe, and he's really proving it on the course. I mean, to go back-to-back and to have a chance to go 3 in a row on the Disc Golf Pro Tour with all the talent that's out there is really a very special moment. And we'll see if he can put it together this week. But so far, this kid has already etched his name in the history books of disc golf.
Yeah, and you're seeing here in the 2024 season, #1 in DGPT points, the StatMando Power Rankings, and StatMando Official Rankings. So he's doing plenty of work out there. One of the few things, like I was mentioning, he hasn't put his name on the trophy yet, on the bear, and hoping his initials could get carved in there by the end of this weekend. And many players would be happy if their season had as many accolades as what he's already done just in the first few months. We look back at Waco, where he was crowned champion, a great battle that came all the way down to the very end with Luke Humphreys, where he came out victorious. And then the performance he put together at Texas State's, including an 1100 rated final round, making it look easy out there.
Yeah, 2024 has just been impressive from Ganon Buhr, and it's really, it goes along with what he did in 2023. This really is not a surprise, but what we're seeing is now a development of a young player. A putt like this, just to go in your backyard and try to execute that putt without falling forward and to make it under the pressure of winning, and he won in dominant fashion in Portland. But he can win in a dominant way, and he can also win in a very close way at the Beaver State Fling, coming down to the stretch there winning. And so this kid, like I said, he has the winning recipe, and he knows how to win. And he's young, and he's not looking back.
And we'll do a check-in on the statistics, or should I say the standings, the stats that give him these standings, we'll call it, way out in front, 90 points ahead of Niklas Antila, Ricky Wysocki at 730, Calvin Heimberg not in attendance this weekend, sitting at 714 points, and an early front runner was AB, who's sitting in 5th. And right now we'll look at our Canna current conditions, where the temperature is a very mild 70, humidity at 83%, wind the same as this morning, coming out of the north and east at just 6 miles per hour. It shifted from the east over to the northeast here this morning, but overall, very scoreable conditions. And speaking of scoring, to try and get 9 birdies in a row, Klein on the 16th is off the top band. Of course, an impressive round nonetheless. He's going to come back on the 17th. Shortest hole on the course, just 243 feet. The forehand down the tunnel. And I guarantee he makes that one inside 10 feet as Kyle Klein is just destroying the course here this morning. Early afternoon. The efforts have been nothing short of impressive as Klein is heading over to the 18th. And we'll keep an eye on that, but currently sitting 13 under. Hottest round we've ever seen out on the course was 15 under, so we'll see what Kyle can do. Just like that, we've got him live on the tee of 18.
Yeah, 18, a par 5. And it's actually a pretty short par 5. I think Klein can get to it, though, with this tee shot. He's playing very safe.
Yeah. He said, I will give myself no decision. Yeah.
Interesting to hear that from his group, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, he's pretty much going to have to lay up from there. So Klein definitely playing for birdie over there on 18.
Looks like our second feature card of the day, ready to go on the tee at 1.
All right, now, bro.
All right, everybody, we are going to send off our 335 cars. First up on the box, please welcome from Barbersville, West Virginia, Corey Ellis.
Thank you.
From Hillsboro, Oregon, Cole Redalen.
Just want to take a second and say thanks to my brother who just completed the Marine Corps boot camp. So, hoorah! From Shirley, Massachusetts, let's hear it for Casey White. Come on, Casey! And from Montgomery, Illinois, give it up for Gavin Rathman.
As that card kicks off, moves down the fairway, let's take a look at Nate's Keys, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, it's a shot maker's paradise out here at the Preserve. Not a lot of bad luck really in store for these players. You got to execute, put yourself in position. You need precision off the tee. You need to be in position, proper side of these fairways on these par 4s and par 5s. And then, of course, the par 5 scoring. I mean, we have 2 par 5s out there. One of them on 18, very eagleable. So I think that's a good opportunity to get 2 under par on 18. And when you're trying to shoot double digits, taking advantage of the par 5s is a huge opportunity. Kyle, as I mentioned earlier, definitely playing hole 18 for par with that tee shot. Great second shot, put himself in a really nice position. You can see Kyle, the leader of the tournament.
Sullivan Tipton doing some work out there as well. He came in much earlier at the 11 under. Dawson Snelling at 10 under. I think we're going to see quite a bit of moving and shifting around on this lead card. And it was talked about yesterday, in good scoring conditions, every player is thinking double digits and then some. And that's certainly been the case over the last few years of this tournament.
Yeah, it really, double digits is kind of the minimum required in all 3 rounds if you want to go on and win this tournament. So that's definitely where the mind of the players is as they tee off here on hole 1.
Gavin will be just inside the circle.
All 4 players in this group here on 1 played it relatively safe on the right side of the fairway. It does make for a longer second shot from a distance perspective, but it's really not out of the range of anybody. Sort of just an overstable mid-range. That'll work out okay for Cole. Looks like Casey's going to go to more of the Spikeiser approach here. I think with not a lot of wind, this is a favorable play. A bit more speed on the disc.
And favorable it is as Casey White checks up just a few feet past the pin. Ellis, who was closest to the pin, now may be farthest from the pin after the approach is Klein throwing his 3rd.
This really, with these conditions, Terry, this is a 10 out of 10 shot for Klein within the bullseye, basically.
And so Klein will set himself up for the birdie with that.
Perfect weight on that. And, you know, you got to hand it to Klein. Played it for birdie, and he's going to go on and get that birdie, I can guarantee it.
Klein to get to 14 under. And he's done it. What a performance by Kyle Klein as he opens up his 2024 Preserve campaign here. And we saw one of the few pars that he had was from inside the circle back there on 16. And check the other couple of pars that he had. They were all on the front 9. Otherwise, holes 3, 5, and 7 are where he collected pars along with 16. Certainly setting the bar at that 14 under. That I'll go ahead and say, I think we're going to see him on lead card tomorrow. Might be a couple other 14s or 15s with him, but
look, if he's on
the
Chase, then
then we're really in for an afternoon,
yeah,
right?
Don't put anything down because we're going to be birdieing almost every hole, basically.
And not a good bid at all by Corey Ellis. Kind of surprising to see that from that distance.
Yeah, Corey's one of the best putters, and that was definitely a disappointing effort.
Rathbun in for birdie. Cole follows suit in for the birdie. Casey White just outside of the bullseye has the birdie look. 3 of the 4 convert for the birdie. We've got plenty of action on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. And Kevin Jones announcing the new sponsorship. Now a birdie look on hole 1. Well, first birdie as an Innova disc player. Quite a shakeup here in the last week, seeing that big announcement of both the departure as well as the new sponsorship. But Kevin Jones off to a good start today, getting his first 2, and he's 2 under through 4 holes.
It's interesting here, Terry, at the preserve. You know, of course, it's 10,743 total, and there's 3 holes under 300 feet. You know, it's not often that you see that many short holes on a course of that length.
White going to the standstill for the 315-foot tee shot.
And during my keys, I said there was 2 par 5s. There's actually 3. And so that's why the critical par 5 scoring is so important. And they're all in the back 9 as well.
About 45 minutes southeast. More correct. Okay. Yeah, it's like that. Just a little suburb of Twin Cities, Woo! Okay. I guess it's like.
Boy, I mean, a win this week for Ganon Buhr would really just put him into another stratosphere. You know, there's only been a couple of people to win 3 in a row at all on tour, let alone here in this modern age of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. All the great players, week in and week out.
Not the par 5 on the back.
Oh, yeah, it's in shade.
He's going to have to try to take down Ricky Wysocki. Ricky has won here twice. Bradley Williams also a champion.
The last 3 titles here at the preserve have gone to those 2 men. Ricky Wysocki and Bradley Williams. One of my favorite memories is Bradley Williams claiming his title on the 6-year anniversary of also claiming the first ever Disc Golf Pro Tour title that was held over at Maple Hill. But we're going to take a look again at Ganon Buhr. You know, you called it, just having that type of control from that range and that distance. Obviously, he's got both backhand and forehand capabilities. His putting can be deadly. See him getting a little crafty here, going with a roller, just knowing how to manipulate discs in any way he needs to. Clearly a smart player, in addition to having all the physical skill sets. So impressive.
All right, folks, the time is here for us to send out our 350 feature card. First up on the box from Scottsdale, Arizona, please welcome Ricky Wysocki. Ganon Buhr.
Big drives there coming from our card. And speaking of playing cards, I think we've got Nate Perkins out there, and he's catching up with Ricky Wysocki. Take it away, Perks.
Rick, this is great. This is your pace, like, throughout the round, too. No wonder you're never holding the course up, man. But they just said that you went to the World Series of Poker. What was that like?
That was awesome. Yeah, I played a tournament on the off week and went to Vegas. Got to see the poker goats like Phil Hellmuth and play a poker tournament with them. So it was a lot of fun. I got to play a $1,500 buy-in and I got 600 plays out of 8,000 people. So it was a fun off week.
Wait, is that in the cash?
Yeah, I think like 1,500 people cash, something like that. And of course, I made day 2 of the tournament, and a lot of disc golfers supporting, rooting me on social media. So it was a good time.
Oh, you think it's harder, Rick, to win a disc golf tournament or a World Series of Poker event?
I gotta say poker. There's 8,000 people in this thing, so it's hard to win. I mean, you gotta get lucky. You gotta play good, and it's 8,000. You gotta beat 8,000 people. That's a lot of people, but it's a grind, just like disc golf. There's a lot of similarities that cross over, and you gotta be patient, and pick your spots, kind of like disc golf. So I think that's why there's a lot of poker players that also play disc golf, and vice versa.
Cool. Thanks for the insight, Rick. Good luck, man.
Thanks.
Pictures coming in from Ricky Wysocki's social media accounts.
So what we're trying to say is that he kept his cash streak alive because while he didn't play a disc golf tournament last week and he did play in a poker tournament, And that's a huge accomplishment, man. That's really cool. And, you know, it sounds like a lot of fun.
I think we could go all the way back to around 2017. We saw him competing in some satellite tournaments and taking it in. So this is not necessarily anything new for Rick, but I love the idea, no matter what it is, I love the idea of some of our players finding other things to do that they enjoy during an off week. Some are a little more dangerous and adventurous than others, but the excitement level and skill level still right up there, as Ricky was talking about. Here's Buhr throwing his second. And yeah, mission accomplished.
20.
Buhr will be birdieing hole 1. And Wysocki in the really fortunate position, being able to see the pin. It's so easy because of those bushes and the trees that kind of guard the green and hang out in that OB area. It can be somewhat tough. You're kind of playing to a spot or relying on your practice as opposed to being able to actually see the basket you're throwing to. So positioning can give you that little extra boost of confidence here, even on the first hole.
Yeah, huge advantage. You could see the difference between where Ganon Buhr was way over on the left side of your screen to where Longquist and Ricky were. And yeah, they're just looking right at the pin. It's a pretty easy shot. Longquist went with the more stable approach, which is going to leave him short and left. We saw Ricky go with that dead straight throw and able to put it right under the pin.
After a par on hole number 2, we've got Redalen teeing on the 3rd.
.400 feet, dead straight, pretty much dead flat. Great shot there from Cole. Very nice control.
And we'll check in with Nate Perkins again. Nate, it feels like Minnesota always turns out for the action. What are you seeing?
Oh, yeah, they're here in full force today. And I think the tournament was a little worried about what it was going to be like with all the rain to get spectators kind of in and out and what their experience would be like. But it still has not rained a drop on me all day long. So got a lot of smiling faces around here, a lot of cold beer, a lot of food. People are loving this.
Over on 3, Gavin for birdie. Never a doubt. On line the whole way from circle 2.
Very nice putt. Back up the hill. It's a common collection point here on 3. A lot of the dry tee shots fading out to the left.
Williams from shallow circle 2 for birdie. just off the mark there for Longquist.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your disc golf warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, shirts, and more. Gotta Go, Gotta Throw.com has all the tools to take your game to the next level. Shop online or our Golden Valley, Minnesota store. Free shipping with all online orders over $75. Online or in-store, get what you need for the game you love. Gotta Go, Gotta Throw.com, your disc golf warehouse. In the game since 1993.
The Preserve Championship is connected by Microsoft Teams. Connect with anyone, anytime, for free with Microsoft Teams. Wysocki now on the tee of 2.
Very nice from Ricky. Beautiful, just soft bend.
And a little refreshing. I was getting worried. We saw that entire second feature card all struggle mightily with the tee shot, and Wysocki gets up there and absolutely peers the gap.
Yeah, Ganon going with an overstable disc there. Trying to really play a sharp angle out of his hand, trying to flex it back late. What we saw from Ricky is just ideal, just kind of letting it release flat, let the disc just turn a slight amount, finish straight. Oh boy. That's going to be a miss Mando. It's a pretty nervous moment for Calvin Lundquist, I would think. Playing in front of the big crowd, the big stage. He's going to have to control those nerves. He wants to perform well today.
After a birdie that you saw on the 14th, we're going to see Isaac Robinson tee on the 15th.
That's a perfect shot there from Isaac, just missing the mandatory, or not missing it, just playing just around it.
And the drop zone here on 2 is for Lundquist to tee from the FPO pad, and that one is not on the mark either.
No, the last 3 shots from Lundquist going back to the previous hole have all come out early and left. Saw the roller of Rathbun in the picture-in-picture, long of the fairways, not out of bounds, but way out of position here.
Sounds like he's caught up on the short left side. Now scrambling for par is going to be very difficult. Coming in hot, so Buhr will be left with a circle's edge putt to save the par.
Oh, what a recovery shot from Cole Redalen. Nearly perfect. Incredible.
A double bogey coming up for Calvin Longquist. And you just heard him talking about nerves. Understandably so, playing in front of your home state crowd here. We heard the eruption in terms of how the crowd greeted him on the tee of hole number 1. And although you never want a double bogey, that might be just what kind of settles him down and says, okay, some of that pressure is off, and now I can just reset and start to battle back.
Yeah, it obviously, you know, nerves is a huge factor in how you play, but just got to settle yourself down. Maybe crack a joke to your caddy. Just laugh. This is it's supposed to be fun right now.
Buhr to avoid bogey.
He's going to have some length coming back the other direction. Port putt here for Ganon early.
I would have lost the double bogey bet on hole 2 if there was one. Unbelievable what we're seeing here. And Ricky steps up and cans the birdie. Just like that, he's going to pick up 3 strokes on Ganon just on this one hole. Not exactly confident, but nonetheless, Bradley Williams on the board. Gavin trying to scramble himself into a par save. And that's inside the circle, so he'll have a chance.
Wow, hit the pole koozie. Perfect shot.
An overview shot of hole number 3.
As I mentioned, and we saw from Rathbun earlier, it slopes away on the left side of the green. And a lot of players, if they don't get enough flip on the drive, they will start to funnel that direction. And if you miss it too big, there is an out of bounds line over there as well. Wysocki guarding against, going left. Overplays that one to the right.
Does it have time to flex back? It does. And inside the circle for Williams.
There's kind of a lot of different ways to attack here on hole number 3. You can play that kind of faster disc that we just saw Bradley throw with that little flex on it. Or for some of the bigger throws, they can actually throw really slow discs at full speed, right? It's 408 feet, so it's going to be a full blast with, you know, a mid. And I think that's what we're seeing here from Ganon. Something a little bit slower. Avoids the big flare skip. You'll have a similar putt to Rathbone. Just think about the way Williams played it. He's actually playing for that skip. He wants that big flare at the end, hence using a faster disc.
See if Calvin can reset himself. He'll be on the short right side, but clear of any danger.
Yeah, if you're looking at the glass half full, it wasn't an early release. So kudos to Calvin. We don't have these stats, but that's going to be one of the very few birdies from that side of the fairway for Cole Redalen.
And speaking of birdies, Isaac Robinson picks one up on 15. I believe that'll move him to double digits. And there he is. Yes, he is now tied for third at 10 under. Looking to improve on that as he closes out 16 through 18. Quite the eruption. As Calvin buries it on the third.
What a great feeling. Circle 2, a nice step putt there from Calvin. And that, I think you were spot on there, Terry. Maybe that double bogey relaxed Lundqvist just a little bit.
I'm thinking Ganon's feeling less nervous than what we'd see out of a Calvin. However, his battle's just the same. He has to come back after that double bogey. And the putter well off. Williams is now 2 for 3. With authority, we see Ganon put that one in. Casey White trying to find a line here on hole 5. This is his second. Oh, and off the top. We're going to roll the Zuka replay and take another look. Somewhere up there, he had a window, and it comes crashing in, hits the top of the basket, and then checks up right there, just at the edge of the bullseye. Robinson looking for skip. A skip and a roll, so he'll be putting back up at the basket. Certainly a birdie look. Just 3 to play for him. And after the par by White, Redalen in for birdie. Let's take a look at the birdie zone here and what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, yeah, you can see it's this big, long turnover. Earlier, we saw Cole Redalen out too long, too straight, and that's why that second shot was so difficult. If you can get it more inside, there's a group of trees right where that yellow bubble is right there. If you can get just inside that, it makes the second shot much easier, though it's not easy, Terry, whatsoever. But if you can get into that spot right there, then you can see this basket here on hole number 4.
Might be easier to birdie with the Birdie Pro board game, which is brought to us by Birdie Pro, the best-selling disc golf board game in the world. Get yours at your favorite disc golf shop or boulderbrothers.com. I don't know. I find it difficult to pick up birdies in that game, too. Just got to get in the birdie zone. That's what we need.
Man, you need like the Ricky bonus where you make everything from 60.
Can Williams find the birdie zone?
Yeah, pretty good. It's a great view here, Terry. You can see how tight it is as you head back to the basket. But if you're at that grouping of trees or just inside it, and from the player's perspective, it would be to the right of those trees, you're going to have a great view at the pin. I just think it goes to show you how good that shot from Redalen earlier was, with how small the window is to the pin.
Deep of the ideal landing zone. We saw the drive by Robinson, now for birdie. Robinson will move to 11 under with 2 holes left to play. He goes birdie eagle. He's got a chance to have a share of the lead. Wysocki. Perkins, why aren't we seeing forehands? Is that just too far to push off of this tee shot?
I'll answer that one for you, Terry. I am a Nate, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's a really tough angle. You kind of just on 4, you want to get it high, let it drift to the right. The sidearm just does not fly that way. So That's one of the reasons we don't see the players attacking with sidearm there on 4. Beautiful shot there from Redalen. Very well controlled, right in the middle of the fairway. After Ricky's tee shot, there's zero chance of birdie here on 4. He's just going to have to try to get it either into that tunnel or just beyond it, and that would be a very good shot.
Yeah, basically right at the mouth, as you were just calling for. So Ricky from there should be able to get up and down and save the par.
I know. Thanks, Isaac. Thanks. Good touch.
Gotta love his chances from there. Robinson, no problem getting down the corridor. One of the things most commonly talked about with this property is just the accessibility to kind of wander around and find golf wherever you go. There's only a few holes that are inaccessible from our spectators' point of view. Otherwise, there's plenty of viewing areas and opportunities. In fact, Cale making an adjustment to hole 8's green for that exact reason, because the spectator collection zone around 8, 9, 10 in that general area is such a great place to be, kind of a midway point. I know they've got food trucks and other activities going on out there. Just an amazing atmosphere out here at the preserve.
So you can see Lundqvist has a great view of the tunnel, but he's going to have to work a lot of stability, so right to left as he gets through that tunnel. Play a little ground play here as well. Wow. Wow. He took the highest possible line and didn't even need the ground play. He's going to leave himself with a circle 1 putt long.
Just inside the circle for Buhr.
Circle 2 putt.
Check the footage there, Ganon. I know you like to do that during the round sometimes. You're inside the circle from what I could see. I'm going to flash back to Bradley Williams back in 2022. One of the greatest shots, I think, of the year, actually, is Bradley Williams going all the way up the tunnel and then throwing it in, wondering, me? Did I do that? Did mine going in? Is that me?
I definitely top 5 shots of 22, and one of the best shots ever on tour, caught on camera. His reaction was fantastic, because he's like, there's no chance. I was just trying to get it close. Fast forward to Redalen live on this very same hole. Oh, it looks good, Terry.
Everybody carrying around their insurance, so to speak, out there, right? That's what they always say, is you carry the umbrella and it won't rain on you.
Yep, the more umbrellas that are out there, the less likely it'll rain.
So far, very blessed that we haven't seen any rain or precipitation so far. It was forecasted for all of today as we're watching Robinson tee up on the 18th. An eagle would give him a share of the lead. You gotta like that opening drive.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Isaac does have power, but not that kind of power. I would fully expect a layup there, similar to what we saw from Kyle Klein.
Left side, in for birdie to chip away at the disaster he had on hole number 2, Longquist.
There we go.
And Buhr has this one on lockdown. Good scramble from Wysocki. Walk away with a par. And Cole Redalen off to an incredible start, trying to go 5 for the first 6, and he's done just that. He'll take a brief walk over to the next one, and we're going to take a break on the network. We'll be right back.
Hello, race fans. For decades, my brother and I dreamed of starting a board game company. With the help of the disc golf community, we did. Thank you so much. We are proud to announce that the Preserve is coming to Birdie Pro. Pre-order today, BoderBrothers.com.
Calvin on the tee of 5. Another early release is exactly what he said.
The shot here on 5. Again, just 275 feet. It's all about disc selection. It's just a disc you want to put on an angle, and it's going to just kind of drift nicely. And that's a perfect shot from Ganon Buhr. Kind of that late tree that's just in line with the chains right now. That's the one the players have to just come inside late. And if they do that, they should be inside the circle or near it at least.
Just inside the circle for Williams.
The other spot that can be tricky is if you play it a little too fast through there, there is a bunker long left of the basket as well. Bunker of trees.
Wysocki going with the forehand, very aggressive.
There's that little set of trees I was talking about. Ricky's gonna, I believe, have a pretty good look through there.
Yeah, I mean,
Robinson throwing his second on 18. And just playing for the layup. So if Robinson can get up and down from there, that means he'd finish at a 13 under and would be one back of our leader in Kyle Klein. Can he throw this in? Right on line for Cal.
Thank you.
That's actually like a very toned down.
Short shots, I gotta get them.
Sometimes, I don't know.
That's the one I'm gonna struggle with later. It's just a. You seem to remind me.
We'll jump over to 7. Nico LaCastro, the champion of this event. That'll bring LaCastro back to even par through 7. Light. Overall, Bradley Williams, his putts have just come in a little bit light, whether it's on the right side or short of the pin. Doesn't feel like there's just enough force for him to capitalize on some of the looks that he's had. And then you see a Wysocki just jamming him in from any distance.
Yeah, of the 3 birdie putts that we've seen from Williams, 2 of them have been what you're calling light. I would call, he's trying to guide him in the basket. And the putt that he had on 3 was very aggressive, and he slammed it right in there. But it's just kind of that guiding putt where he's not just popping it in there, similar to what we saw from Ricky, who, you know, is trying to knock the basket off the
off the stand there.
Off the stand.
Redalen on the 7th.
What a start to his round. 5 down through 6. Chance to make another birdie here.
That'll be a look just deep at the pin. Robinson trying to find the green and close out with a birdie. Pretty good chance to capitalize from there. Robinson and more on the other side of the break.
M-Tips by Mojo. Yeah. Number 37.
To get better at upshots, pretend like you're playing catch with a friend. Unless you're not very good at playing catch.
Not again.
Sorry.
Not again. Oh. Uplay Disc Golf is your passport to teaching and learning the game. Our mission? To teach disc golf and make it accessible to everyone worldwide. From Alaska to Africa, Guatemala to Canada, and beyond, Uplay Disc Golf has spread its wings teaching the love of the game across the globe. Get involved in our movement to make disc golf a universal joy. Explore uplaydiscgolf.org and join us in helping people find flight.
Allen's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be. I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Redalen with another birdie look. Man, looking good here, Doss.
Yeah, the rich keep getting richer. What a start for Redalen, and now Isaac. And what a finish for Isaac Robinson. Incredible. Isaac with a 1 bogey, 13 under par. Incredible. Finished with 6 straight birdies to go along with starting 5 for 5, Terry. Good day for Isaac Robinson. One of his best this season, I would say.
Buhr on the tee of 6. Filters through. And that one's just off the road, or just on the side of the road, so he'll be just fine there.
Placement is so important here on hole number 6. We saw it from Redalen. He controlled the tee shot very nicely. You have to be in the short grass if you want to attack here. Of course, if you're Bradley Williams, you just throw it in from the woods, but that is going to be a tough shot for Ricky. Probably just a chip out, I would imagine.
Longquist. Fighting through.
Take that. Yeah.
And we'll see what Williams can do, and then I think we'll have to get an assessment from Perkins out there as to what he is seeing from Wysocki's lie. But first, Bradley. And this is leaking left. Perks, any insight on both Bradley and Ricky shots?
Thank you.
Yeah, Ricky found probably the thickest rough on the course. No, he's one of the best scramblers in the game, but he's going to have to make a miracle scramble just to get up to the initial landing zone and still has to make that last tight gap. And then Bradley actually might have a look down the lane as well as Longquist. Ganon is just short of prime time there after filtering through.
Just think we are not out of the woods yet, so to speak, as this one will require a few back-to-back accurate shots, trying to basically take that road all the way to the pin.
Yeah, so then that's correct. Yeah, because we're going.
Is Boston international, or you have to go to New York?
It's international. I flew to Iceland last year, and then I went to Finland from there. Yeah, I did it both ways. I did the same airport layover. Iceland is
Probably talking about some of the action coming up in the next month or so. You know that we see Kroko along with being over in Finland and Estonia, all right in a row. We have Swedish Open, I believe, next weekend as well. And Wysocki, just with one leg in, seems to have an angle.
Yeah, I would say Ricky got incredibly fortunate there to be, as you said, just with one leg in the rough. And here is that upcoming event schedule. Kind of a little back and forth. Europe, back to the U.S., back to Europe, and then, of course, the European Open, which we all just cannot wait for in about a month out there in Tampere, Finland. It's a worldwide game, Terry.
Yet I find bogeys wherever I go. That's the problem. I don't know how that happens, but I can learn the term for bogey in just about every language.
So you're famous for bogeying in every country you've been in.
I don't know if I've done that just yet, but give me time. I've got more travels coming up. Not quite around the corner for Williams. We don't see him going to a lot of forehands.
Well, and I think it's so difficult for the players here on 6 because you know it's a difficult hole. You want to try to stay aggressive. You want to try to get as far up the second half of this fairway as possible. But it can very quickly turn into a bogey, if not even worse, if you don't keep it in the short grass, for lack of a better term. Williams is going to still be scrambling from the left side of the fairway. That was a little overplayed, a little too far right for Ganon. That's where his disc landed. Looks like he might have a little lane right there, Terry.
He's thinking that's going to be a par, but we've also seen him make some pretty incredible putts.
Well, just in your stance, so you can lay down, put your arm up in that stance.
So this is a very similar spot to where we saw Redalen, who put it within just a few feet of the pin.
That was almost it, dude. Almost it.
Redalen ready to tee off on 8. As we said, 2 pin positions have moved. Holes 8 and 10.
Thank you.
And Wysocki's going to put himself just at the whisker there. That will be to save his par.
There's not too many other people in the world I'd want to have that putt. For me, Ricky, one of the best putters of all time.
And I'm just going to go ahead and assume that hole 6 here has to be playing as one of the more difficult holes on the course. And
I'd put money on this that it's the most.
You would be right there, Nate. I am finally getting to it by a long shot, in fact, averaging .42 over par. The next closest is .11 over par.
Crazy.
So, by leaps and bounds, the most difficult hole on this course. Another throw in from Williams.
Kyle Klein, the leader of the tournament, did birdie here on hole number 6.
Well, it's a good thing we can check in with him because I believe we caught up with him right after his round. So let's hear from him now.
We're joined in the clubhouse now by Kyle Klein, 14 under today. Can you just tell us about your round?
Yeah, I mean, it went pretty smooth out there. I had to make a few circle 2 putts, but everything else was circle 1, if not bullseye, and then I was just throwing really well and just put it all together today.
You were telling me as we were walking up about how you drew metal on the other 4 holes that you quote-unquote missed.
Yeah.
Talk about just how dialed you felt today.
Yeah, I mean, my throw has felt better than it ever has. My putting is... it's been better, but it's hanging in there. My circle 2 putting was good today. I think I made 2 or 3 today, and that kept me in it for a good round going when I wasn't close.
And talk about how success in circle 2 can kind of lead to these big hot rounds.
Yeah, I mean it does nothing but build confidence really when your throw kind of lacks a little bit, and then when you have that confidence to make a circle 2 putt and save the birdie, it just skyrockets from there.
All right, Kyle. Great round today. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Kyle with the blistering 14 under today, but drawing medal on the 4 birdie attempts that he didn't capitalize on. Plenty of looks.
Yeah, and he was 3 for 5 from circle 2. All in all, it's a good day on the disc golf course.
Thanks. Oh boy. Camera breaking. You know where she is? That's a big video. Just a picture like the USA.
The par attempt doesn't find medal for Williams. Ricky, from about half the distance that we just saw from Williams, now has this left for par.
After that tee shot from Ricky, not too many people would have went on to make par. Nice job there from Rick.
Back with Cole Redalen throwing his second on the 8th.
So they turned hole number 8 from a par 5 into a par 4. 811 feet. Redalen nearly threw a perfect tee shot. Just needs to play a big overstable spike hyzer here, and played on the safe side of things there. Have a look for birdie.
I'll be looking for more action on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Brought back by popular demand. Z-Lite plastic from Discraft. Disc that you already know and love, now available in lighter weights. Z-Lite, more distance with less effort.
Behold the Eagles Crossing Disc Golf Course, a sanctuary where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. As each disc takes flight, destiny intertwines with the flight path. But beware, brave souls, for the course harbors challenges that even the boldest must confront. Yet, fear not, for victory and camaraderie are your companions on this voyage. Visit eaglescrossingdiscgolf.com.
Introducing the newly improved titanium plastic line from Discraft. Experience superior performance with an enhanced, tackier grip for unmatched control in all weather conditions. Each disc features mesmerizing swirls and bursts, making every throw a visual standout. Maintain the durability you trust with titanium plastic, ensuring your discs withstand the test of time. Elevate your disc golf game with Discraft's newly improved titanium plastic line.
Your rating is one of the most valuable things you get with a membership. This gives you accurate numbers to track how well you've been doing and your overall improvement in the game. You also get a member number when you register with the PDJ. Your PDJ number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdj.com/join.
Redalen has the birdie look just at circle's edge. Can he go 7 for 8? Oh, yes, he can. Redalen. What a start here in the first 8 holes.
I mean, if you're going to dedicate your round to your brother, this is the way to do it. And it's been a little bit of everything. I mean, think just in the last 2 holes, he's made some beautiful putts. The one on 7, that was from circle 2. 8, that was just from the edge. Bunch of circle 1 putts there. Fantastic shooting from Cole Redalen. So 390 feet here, pretty much dead straight. Most of the players are going to throw a mid-range disc. Just kind of put it on a line, let the disc do the work. This is sort of a mid-fairway driver as well for some of the players.
Lundqvist doesn't love it, and you see he kicks out at least, but not an ideal tee shot by any means. I'm not going to go ahead and call this a gimme, but is this, or a must get, but you do feel like this is right in everyone's wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 390 feet. You have a couple of these early branches off these big mature trees to miss. But if you put it on a line, there's really almost nothing to hit. And so that's why it becomes a hole that should be birdied by the field. And it is a great example. I mean, Bradley right down the middle of the fairway, and he's going to be inside circle 1.
And we continue to tell you how Kyle's out in front, and right there almost chasing him down for a share of the lead. Finishes with 6 straight birdies. That's Isaac Robinson, and after the round we were able to catch up with him. Here's what he had to say.
We're joining the clubhouse now with Isaac Robinson. 13 down today. Tell us about the round.
Yeah, the drives were feeling good. I made up my mind that if it was going to rain, I was going to do my best, and thankfully the rain held off, so I was able to shoot a pretty hot round to start, and I think one back of Kyle heading into tomorrow.
Talk about the mental preparedness you had to do for all the rain, and how does that change when it doesn't come, or is it just it's just all bonuses?
Honestly, the bag is kind of tight because you stuff it full of towels, but other than that, you really just kind of revert back to normal, and it's pretty smooth sailing from there. So.
Other than the one bogey today, you played clean. Can you tell us what was working for you today to keep you?
A lot of the drives and the approaches. This year, I've really bled strokes on the short game, so 200, 250 and in. So that was kind of clicking today, and the drives felt good. So yeah, driving well makes the putts easy. So
yeah. Any changes you need to make for tomorrow, or is it just kind of?
Yeah, if I can do exactly the same thing, I'm very happy.
All right, great. We'll see you tomorrow, Isaac. Good shooting today.
Thank you.
And interesting to see that the only mistake Isaac really made out there was on one of the quote-unquote easier holes. Hole number 11 is where he picked up the bogey. As we're watching Buhr put in for birdie. Longquist in for the par. And Wysocki picks up another birdie.
Ricky 4 down through 7 holes, 2 scrambles so far.
Has to be one of the fan favorite holes out here. Hole number 9, Redalen. Needs this to fade toward the pin, just fall out of the sky. Oh, caught up on that right side. That will be obstructed. We've got more action coming right up.
Think you're the best glitch thrower in the world? Enter a Glitch World Championship qualifier in your area, and you can qualify to play against the best one-speed throwers in the world at the Glitch World Championships this fall at Maple Hill. The players' pack includes 2 exclusive discs, a Plasma Soft Glitch and a Plasma Soft Pitch. You'll also be able to purchase, for the first time ever, Streamline's Parachute, the first hybrid catch disc from Streamline. Sign up for a Glitch World Championship qualifier today.
Support your disc golf game with a brand new Tritanium sleeve. We import these directly from Finland at high and low compression, or check out their knee or wrist supports. The only place you can get Tritanium in the United States is right here at PowerGripUSA.com.
This is the game changer. Step onto the course with the Pure Premium Disc Golf Bag, adding a touch of glamorous flair to your play. Use the code DGPT at puredisc.net for the best price. Upgrade your game. Upgrade your look.
Buhr off the tee of 8.
So with the new configuration here on hole number 8, the more aggressive you can get closer to the water, the shorter the next shot's going to be. So I think Ganon played that really nice, pretty safe, pretty conservative, but has enough distance and power to get to the pin on the second shot. And it's effectively two 405-foot shots. Will put you 1 foot away from the pin.
Middle for Bradley Williams, and we've been talking about some of these course changes. Well, no one better to explain them than one Kale Leviska. Let's check in with him now.
Hey y'all, I'm Kale Leviska, the course designer and founder here at the Preserve. We're standing on the tee of hole 8. This is one of the 2 holes that have changed this year a little bit for the Black Bear layout. So we thought we'd walk you through them. Let's go check them out. If you want to shorten your distance, then you got to cut it close to the water's edge. But the safe play is obviously to throw as far away from the water as possible, but that puts you further away from the basket. So I think this is a perfect placement. there's a couple different motivations. First, I loved the old green up there, but we're so close to the pavilion hole, which is one of like the most popular viewing spots on the property. But it's tucked up in the trees up there, so you couldn't see it from any of the bleachers or any place by the pavilion. So that was the main motivation, was to kind of make it more visible for all the spectators that are at the pavilion and all across the lake here. It's obviously possible. If we get the perfect wind, some of these guys are capable of it on their biggest throws. Will it happen? I really doubt it. I don't know if the risk is totally worth the reward, but as you can see, the tee is in direct line of the basket, and all you gotta do is clear this pond, so it might tempt, AB or some of these guys, I guess we'll see. Playing the entire hole right along this pond is obviously very picturesque. The view's great, it plays tough, so I think it's a great change.
Great to hear from Cale. Unfortunately, made the announcement that he is not competing here this weekend. He's talked about in the past saying how he's a tournament director or main guy in charge, and then has to kind of focus on playing. And then this year, he doesn't have that role. However, as you can see by his hand, injured it a few weeks ago while he was out doing a course design, and then didn't heal up quite as quickly as he had hoped it would, as I saw him at the Pro Masters World Championships last week, and ultimately is sitting out this week. So he's here taking it all in with just a ton of friends and family out on the property. And Perkins, talk to us about hole 8 in terms of just how you feel like anybody would attack it or play it any differently than what we've seen in previous years.
It puts a little bit more pressure on the tee shot, Terry. You really need to get well past 400 to be comfortably throwing the hyzer into the green here. With a little bit of wind, it makes it hard, but right now it's dead calm. Everyone on this lead card was able to get it well over 400 feet. Cal's going to be up first, and he's going to have right at 400 on the nose into this green here, and it makes for great spectating. Most of the spectators are lined up on the other side of the water here.
Well, thank you, Nate, as we'll see what Calvin can do with his second shot.
This is going to be close to the water. This is the fear. It's got to sit down, and it does. Wow. Very close to disaster for Longquist, but
No, that was.
I promise you he was a little nervous on that one.
Checking in with Anthony Barella, who's got a birdie look on 14. And with that, he'll move to 7 under.
Oh. See if AB can shred those final few holes and get himself to double digits. It's a little more conservative here for Williams. Should have about a circle edge putt. Oh no, and a great skip there from Williams. Awesome.
Just thinking back to a moment ago as we watched AB tap out, we saw that Alex Geisinger on the card out of Minnesota. If that's not the longest throwing card out there, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't matter who the other two are, right, Terry?
Exactly. Alex, a Minnesota native, as we're watching Ganon Buhr also in position for birdie.
It's amazing to watch the difference between Bradley Williams and Ganon Buhr. Bradley Williams playing this very flat shot, comes in, takes a nice big skip. Buhr much higher with a lot more spike. Ricky's going to do the same thing. They're trying not to get almost any skip of any kind, minus a little check skip. And it's just very interesting to watch the way the two approaches can attack the same green.
And we saw the drive on hole number 9 a little while ago by Cole Redalen. He's got more of a window than I even expected.
I bet your paycheck he makes this. It just seems like he ain't going to miss today. pay up, Terry.
Take it out of Ricky's Bitcoin if you would. That's where I tell you to go find that. A gray pot. Redalen looks to be on fire.
Drew Gibson joining the group of double digits. Ben Callaway heading that way as well. Ben Callaway's only played 13 holes. He's 9 under. Not surprising at all. This is exactly what it takes to win out here at the Preserve. You got to go low if you want to take the bear home with you.
More than that.
It'll be on the left side of the fairway on hole number 10, one of the other 2 holes that got changed from 2023's layout compared to this year.
Thank you.
See some right to left wind coming in for Buhr after we just watched the connected putt by Longquist. Ricky also in for the birdie. Really interesting to see Ricky not putting his left hand up on his putter, not touching his kind of left side of the putter. It used to be something he would do frequently, and we're not seeing it. It's like he's consciously not doing it when he's putting right now. That's something as of late. See, he always used to really touch or grab almost, and he's just simply not doing that. Or even when he would set up for his shot, he used to kind of have his left hand resting, and it looks like he wants to there. You see the motion is still there, but he's not doing it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a conscious thing by Ricky or if it's just subconscious, you know, the ebbs and flows of the tour life. But that's an interesting observation there, Terry.
Perkins, talk to us about the teeing area of hole number 9, because it feels like it'd be one of the fan favorites.
Yeah, definitely one of the fan favorites. They've got the bleachers less than 25 feet from the tee pad, and right now the pond short of the basket is just, it's glass right now, so it's just reflecting the tree line above the pin. Probably have 300 to 500 spectators gathering around to watch this featured card tee off right here, and yeah, there's just no wind to speak of, so ace alert, guys.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty close attempts throughout the years by both the FPO and MPO divisions. I know we saw the Airborne Pavilion out there. I know that also is a common collection point. People can grab some food and beverages usually. And there's no doubt that some of these weather conditions have kept a few of the normal spectators away here today. Not quite as many as what we would expect on a sunny day. But nonetheless, looks like a great opening round out here at the Preserve. Buhr on the tee.
Go ahead.
Not an ace, but it's going to be a tap-in birdie for Ganon Buhr.
kind of saw it from Redalen in the previous group, but the players are playing an overstable disc right of the pin, and they're just trying to judge the distance perfectly to drift just in front of that long tree line.
Wysocki inside 20 feet. Pulled to the right, not enough time for it to skip or hook up.
It's a little bit surprising, honestly, to see Bradley go with a disc that was a little bit understable. He put a lot of hyzer on that thing, and it flipped up to flat. So maybe just a missed angle there for Bradley, but kind of a surprising play.
And I think some may think this hole looks relatively easy. It's at least 320 to clear the water. They make it look easy because they can throw so far, but you're talking about 320 to get over the water and get after this hole that comes in at 406 feet.
Yeah, and the big challenge is that it's not just a pure spike hyzer. You kind of have to throw it flat and keep it in front of that tree line, and that is the challenge of it.
New to the round one action, we'll get you caught up with some of our highlights that we've seen. Cole Redalen.
I mean, to me, nearly shot of the day, and I think this really set Cole Redalen's round off right, because that was a very challenging shot he went on to make birdie.
Kyle Klein, our leader, saying that he wasn't going to get aggressive and go after the eagle. He'd be happy with the birdie. That would put him inside 15 feet on the final hole. Also, Isaac Robinson setting himself up for the birdie look on the final hole. So he's one back of our leader in Kyle Klein. Redalen on the 8th to go 7 under through the first 8 holes. Williams in there trying to find his line. Looks like he does have a lane. You gotta love that.
I mean, to take advantage of, as you said, having the line is a huge bonus there for Williams. Could have easily had nothing from that side of the green.
Well, when you're powered by Naqua, you've got lifestyle power, which is exactly what Bradley Williams was bringing to this green of hole number 9. Longquist. A little shorter, a little easier. In for birdie. Looks like we're going to have a star frame.
Yeah, I think that's back-to-back star frames, in fact.
Is that right there? I know, we're...
Redalen throwing his second on 10.
That was a really good tee shot way left. He has a great angle. Just a position play here on the par 5.
And speaking of the par 5, Doss, what are they looking at?
Well, you got this big tree right off the tee, so you got to choose if you're going to go hyzer or big turnover. 99% of the players are going to go big turnover. You might even see some rollers out of the players. The hole is going to continue to bend off to the right. We know Redalen was way over here to the left. It just gives a great angle as you head down the fairway. And as you get up to this part of the fairway, this is when the OB starts to come into play. You have the cart path on the right and those woods, obviously everything left out of bounds. And then it kind of turns into an island at this point where you got to then get on to the green grass on the right side of the cart path. And that's why Redalen is trying to just play position to give himself a good look. And this is a tough entry into this green. You got to go right of those trees, but not go too long because the OB is very close beyond the pin. I'd say playing as the second most difficult hole today, averaging just over par, which is always surprising when we see our guys playing par 5s.
1,120 feet in total. Redalen with his third.
Okay, so Cole's going to go with the little sidearm here.
Is that all angle into the green? Is he just trying to play the slope that's right there at the green?
He is. I mean, he's trying to utilize that slope to just stop his disc. Very close to being out of bounds. Had that tree not been there, he probably would have found the OB. Because he was so low on the hill, he kind of skipped forward, the tree saving him at the last second there.
Nate, are they dealing with any humidity issues out there? I know the temperatures are cool, but how about humidity?
It's been above 85% humidity all day. So, you know, some players actually like that humidity. Ganon's actually been seeming to struggle with it. He can't quite get the chalk to do him as much justice as he would like. Let's see if he can open up into the headwind right here.
About the same distance as the catch cam, who was hoping he wouldn't have to turn all the way around. So good drive there by Ganon. Here's Rathbun. Forehand right into the pin.
Yeah, and a better shot from Rathbun because he got it higher, really utilizing that slope versus what we saw from Redalen, which was just a little bit lower on the hill.
Also, as far as our catch cam positioning. Redalen to go 9 for 10. It hangs on.
I'm not betting against Cole today. Even when it looked like he might not birdie, the basket helps him out.
Ben Calloway on the tee.
I think that's his second shot here, Terry. Yes, that is his second shot. That's in a really good position.
Clearly, I need to take a break, so you guys will as well. I'll be right back.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your disc golf warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, and more. Everything you need for the game you love. Online or at our Minnesota store. Gotta Go, Gotta Throw.com, your disc golf warehouse.
Help! I'm so weak.
Hey. Leave that poor boy alone.
And who are you supposed to be, punk?
I'm you, man.
Huh?
Introducing the Birdie Derby, a ready-to-run tournament package from Prodigy Disc. It's the perfect 3-disc tournament to welcome new players and give experienced throwers something new to try. Learn more and host a derby today at discgolfderby.com.
Bradley Williams throwing on 10. This is his second shot. That's pushing left, but comes up short of the out of bounds.
The grass just doesn't skip the cheer. They just play like lawn dogs.
Well, and to that point, I think about a few of the previous years, Ganon talking about the non-skip factor out there. One year we're playing under a some Canadian wildfires that were dealing with the smoke and everything else, and then a few of the other years it's just been a flat-out drought out here. So yes, different conditions throughout the years for sure. Redalen on the tee of 11.
This looks great. Does it have the distance?
Oh, it certainly
Yes,
does.
It does. What a day from Cole Redalen.
Obviously the third by Callaway.
Ooh. Great view from up above.
And just truly the definition of a bottleneck, right? We see it as it looks almost like a sideways bottle right now or at an angle, and then it just continues to get tighter and tighter as it plays uphill and to the pin.
Yeah, so basically where that cart path on the right comes in, that's where the out of bounds starts on the right side. So they have to stay to the left of that. And then as you get up towards the pin, that's where it becomes a quote-unquote island.
Gavin on 11. That's going to check up next to the pin. Just a little bit deep. Very workable for Rathbun.
Maybe has a chance.
Has a chance to be parked right there. Kind of puts it in perspective to think about the one bogey Isaac had was right there after we just watched 4, near park jobs. So certainly a place where Isaac knows he could clean up a stroke or 2 tomorrow. Not that he's probably complaining about his 13 under.
Yeah, the thing about it for Isaac, too, is he was out of bounds. So I'm assuming he was probably a few feet from being inbounds, which, that's a 2-shot swing. And, we're getting conflicting reports on what Callaway actually got on 14. As of right now, that was for par.
Just tell me at one point I might have been right. That's all I need to know.
I tend to tune that part out, Terry.
As we're watching Williams with a forehand.
Yeah, I mean, the way that this par 5 is playing today, I would expect a lot of the players to be throwing this sidearm into the green. Bradley with the tip of his cap. But yeah, just being on this side of the fairway, having this great angle. The sidearm, as you noted earlier, able to come into the hillside, check up nicely. I just think the fear would be on that low side of the green where you could potentially go long out of bounds.
Money though?
Yeah.
Cole takes an extra moment, trying to go 10 under through the first 11. Tee of 15 with Callaway.
Some people's fame is stay negative. Like Josh Giddey's never going to recover from what he's done.
Callaway playing the tee shot pretty safely. We'll have a longer second shot upcoming.
And Wysocki knew it. About 2/3 of the way there, he started to run it in. Ganon in for the birdie.
So for a hole that was playing pretty difficult to the field, the last couple of groups have played hole 10 pretty well. I think a lot of it has to do with really getting off a good tee shot. If you can get it, you know, upwards of 500 feet out there, play the next 2 shots in a little over 500 feet as well. Plays is a fairly easy birdie.
Take one more look at Wysocki bearing the putt from circle 2. We'll be right back.
My name is Garrett Gerthy, also known as Double G, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
Double G Craft Jerky is an awesome snack when you have a hankering on the course. You need a little something to pick you up out there so you can really get after a drive or finish on a putt and capitalize.
When you're playing a disc golf round and you're hungry and you don't have a snack on the course, you start to lose focus, you start thinking about what am I going to eat for dinner. With Double G Craft Jerky, that's not a problem.
I'm David Wiggins, and in 2016, I set the disc golf world distance record with a throw of 1,108 feet. Whether I'm out in the field measuring a max distance throw, or on the course checking the elevation change for an upshot, I rely on the Eagle Secret 360 to give me accurate distances. It's the only rangefinder on the market that measures in feet, yards, and meters. It's USB-C rechargeable and features a lithium-ion battery. Visit EagleSecret360.com to get yours today.
Everything changes. Life changes. Seasons change. And your personal style changes too. Luckily, your Zuka can change with you. One frame, with a lifetime warranty, can stick with you through thick and thin. And if it's time for something new, just swap out your insert to match the new you. Match your style and let your Zuka grow with you.
Redalen on the tee of 12.
A little higher. Keep pushing. Go.
He'll need a great second shot. Perkins, what's the wind doing out there here on 11?
Oh, again, there's just not a drop of wind here, and Ganon's going to take advantage of this. Just going putter and just a little nose up and just going to stall it 18 feet long of the bucket.
Perkins, it's 375 feet. We're talking throwing putter here. I mean, what an advantage to throw a slow disc over the water here.
Yeah, it's so impressive, and wow, Wysocki, I'm talking a disc length just in front of an ace right there, guys. Let's see if Bradley Williams can follow in these vapor trails. I think Bradley might be going a little faster here. Doesn't quite have the liberty of going putter. Clean footwork. It looked like it left his hand a little early. It's starting to fade out, guys. That's in trouble. And that's the fatal mistake right there. Yeah, he's going overstable mid-range here. Same one he threw on 6. That is also a little early, but he has it flipped up nicely. Asking for it to go, and it crawls just over the castle wall. Pin high, 15-footer.
Thanks to our friends at Flight Factory, we can take another look at this from our drone. Oh, yes, Wysocki just short of ringing it up. Head on over to flightfactorydisc.com, pick up some merch, as we'll take a look back at hole 11 from last year. Wysocki.
Oh, this was a moment. This was an absolute moment. Unbelievable from Ricky Wysocki.
And Wysocki, of course, igniting the crowd, understandably so.
Gosh, how many of those do we have of Ricky? I remember the one he made at in Emporia.
Yeah, from the drop zone.
From the drop zone as well. That
Yeah.
was just amazing.
Williams heads to the FPO tee pad.
It's going to be a tricky shot. He's got to try to flip it up through this gap. Oh, he's done this nicely, Terry. Can he get over the hill, though? Nope, just a little bit too short. I think Cole right there had to really try to dial in a very difficult shot and probably just unwilling to go full speed to get up and over that little ridge. As I was saying earlier, Callaway with a much longer second shot than he would like, but handles it nicely.
Barely getting over the rim there, up onto the upper shelf. Longquist in for birdie. Clean up for Buhr will get him to 6 under. Williams will fall back to 4 under.
Let's hold for a minute. Let's make sure the players got you crew.
Callaway trying to get to double digits. And that birdie will bring him into the top 5. Callaway, 10 under. 3 holes left to play in his round. Redalen. Does he have another birdie? Coming up, Redalen just low. He'll have to settle for par. So Cole Redalen sitting at 10 under. Still a third of the course to play.
Yeah, but as you can see, Terry, most of the rest of the tournament is at 10 under as well. I mean, that's just what it takes. It takes, 10, 12 under per round to win. And when guys like Klein and Robinson have already set down 14 and 13, you definitely got to go under par. More than just 10 down, I should say.
Let's head back to hole 12 and, well, the scene of where Redalen just took a par. Why is this so tough, Nate?
Well, I think it's one of my favorite holes out here, hole 12. Kind of puts a lot of pressure on this initial tee shot. You kind of want to throw a hyzer flip through this gap, so putting on a lot of power on it. If you can get past this old golf bunker into this area, this is ideal. Redalen was well back of that. Then you have these few trees to try to navigate, and this little bump in the fairway is an awesome feature, natural feature here on the property. If you can get up and over that, then you're going to have a look at birdie, elevated basket on the stump. It's a beautiful hole, hole number 12.
Playing as the 4th most difficult hole on the course.
You know, I really do like this hole a lot, Terry, because I think in a way, you just don't feel like you're on a golf course, on an old golf course. Some really nice gaps to hit here. Some great features.
This teeing area was shifted. It used to be in a slightly different position. When you were done with 11, you used to kind of walk just straight ahead to the tee of 12 to play to this pin. And then a couple of years ago, they moved it into a, you know, taking it off center, so to speak, and over on this side of the fairway. And I really love the change.
Yeah, great hyzer flip there and beautiful ground play from Buhr.
Near perfect, right?
Yeah, he's in a perfect position.
And he just said exactly what I wanted. That stops very quickly for Wysocki.
Yeah, it's hard to go pure hyzer here, because if you're on that short side, if you get caught up on the left side, it's really hard to attack the green. And for Ricky there, just not enough flip to flat, and that's why he stayed short.
Callaway has a birdie look on 16. And he'll move to 11 under. I smell another birdie coming for Cole Redalen. And Barella can really get himself back into the conversation with an eagle here, which would bring him to 10 under. Somewhat of a slow day for him, but this is just his 3rd shot on the 942-foot 18th. AB for eagle. Solid finish. Barella season average finish of 15th, 2nd lowest average season finish of any player with 3+ wins. Simon Lizotte was 19th in 2022. So AB, who got off to an incredibly hot start, we thought he was going to run away with what felt like almost every tournament, and as of late has, compared to how he started, not taking anything away from this season, but he has fallen off as of late and hoping to turn things around here this weekend. Always feels good to put a eagle in your pocket before you head into round number 2.
Yeah, I mean, par 5 scoring for AB. He birdied the first 2 and eagled the final 1. I mean, 4 under par for just 3 holes is pretty good. So he took advantage of the par 5s. Obviously, we would hope he would do that with all of his distance.
We're on 16, and Silas Schultz.
Who got it like that, bro? Who's got it like that? Where was it going to go but didn't hit that? In the basket? Are you sure? That's the craziest redirection. There's no way. It was in.
Off the tree. No one else believes it.
Yeah, it actually hit a branch earlier. It didn't hit the trunk of the tree. It hit a branch kind of coming off that pine tree. Either way, pretty amazing. Williams, pretty good spot. This is tough footing. The sand is very soft, and the edge of this, right where his disc is still very soft as well. Oh, you can see his feet. Oh, I think he did a really nice job for how much his feet gave way.
Yeah, the fact that he's going to have a putt from circle's edge is so impressive. You saw first his left foot give out, and then you saw him fall to a knee. We'll take another look.
And it's because the sand from the golf bunker is still at the edge there where his disc is. Look at that back foot, how it went 3 inches down.
Yeah.
3 inches into the ground.
The fact that he was able to plant legally with the right foot still, and then look how much higher up his right foot is than where his left foot is. Just that unevenness in coming through. Really impressive there by Bradley, just to give him that much of a look still with the putt that he'll have.
What a tee shot from Ganon Buhr. 1 tree to beat here. He's going to go with the super overstable to the left side of the big one right in the middle. Just swing it back to the right. Trying to take a lot of the guesswork out of it. Just throw it full speed, overstable.
Go over the hill. Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell that grouse is so wet. Yeah, the grass.
Callaway sits at 11. He too, if a birdie eagle finish, could have a share of the lead at 14.
Got to get out the gap, and he does it very nicely. Great control from Ben Callaway.
Redalen on the 13th. And never a doubt. Scoring everywhere is what's going on out here at the Preserve. Taking advantage of the low winds, the lack of rain. Kyle Klein much earlier came into the clubhouse with that 14 under. Isaac followed him shortly thereafter with a 13. And Cole Redalen seeing those scores in his sights and thinking he could even get past them if he continues on the pace that he started. Very difficult, 14th.
So critical to put your tee shot in a good position. That tee pad right there is a great spot.
So Callaway with the birdie. Wysocki's going to pitch up. Oh, and a terrible kickback. Only 15 or so feet, but still. Ricky was just trying to lay it up. That'll teach him. When's the last time you saw Rick lay up, right?
Exactly.
Longquist. Awkward footing.
Oh, baby.
Yes. Calvin from way deep.
Oh, shot of the day. Nominee right there. Par putt from Calvin Lundquist.
Way deep with awkward footing. And he cashes it.
What a good feeling that is. Smile tells you everything.
And Williams able to capitalize even after the slip out of the bunker. And Rick is in. I was thinking he had that much rollback after hitting the stump. Birdie for Ganon. And Ben Callaway sits at 12 under. Eagle certainly in range for this guy with the power that he has. We'll see what decision he makes after this tee shot. See if he can set himself up for that eagle.
Yeah, if you're going to go for the eagle, you have to bring the pond way more into play at the end of the flight. And he's gone kind of medium aggressive there. I think protecting the 12 under and but still getting some good distance on it. I think certainly we'll see him try to go for the green from over there.
This is trouble.
Yeah, that should be OB.
It's going to push to the left side and well out of bounds. So Redalen, OB on the 14th. He'll get most of the distance before going out of bounds, but out of bounds nonetheless.
Yeah, still a good chance to get up and down for par, as it is a par 5.
Our Flight Factory drone actually hanging out over the Mississippi River to give us that angle. Nate Perkins, hole 13 has to be your favorite hole on the course. Tell us why.
Oh, you just head straight for the river, and this year the water is up higher than ever, so it's actually looming in the back of the minds of these players. If they air the hill where the basket's on, they could actually end up in the river, and you're going to lose your disc forever.
Wysocki got caught up and then kicked out into the fairway. He'll have a decision to make as to how aggressive he wants to be to go after the putt. Longquist coming off the big putt on 12. And oh, it checks up with a final stump. Pin high Longquist inside the circle.
Just aim at that tree on the right.
What a great view of how close the river is, just like Nate Perkins was talking about. And that's a steep slope right there, too. As Perkins was saying, the players are definitely thinking about, you know, coming up 15 feet short versus 15 feet long.
This is about the only flight path I can take without hitting a tree is somewhere out here. Problem is I'd be dropping into the water right about now. But certainly plenty of players hanging out. We talk about, you know, being out in inner tubes or canoes, paddle boards, whatever the case might be. Lots of players doing that this week. That was certainly a theme throughout all of the players' answers during our press conference, just saying how this is a place where you can relax, you can play great golf, but it's all dedicated just to the disc golf and to our disc golfers having a little bit of a reprieve out on the tour here for this week. Lots of camping and extracurriculars, people having a good time enjoying nature. Here's Williams. See how aggressive he wants to be here. This could get a little bit squirrely.
I mean, you see him take his full time to go for it. But in the back of his mind, he knows that he can't. Because if you're flying chain high from that distance, you're most certainly going over that cliff. And so that's not a shock to see it come up short.
Big moment for Wysocki. And definitely going for it, but Wysocki hits low and it checks up within 10 or 12 feet.
In fact, this morning, one of the best putts I saw of the entire FPO round was Paige Pierce on this hole. From distance, with the looming cliff behind, she canned it. And it takes a lot of commitment to try to make a putt in that scenario.
Not a bad angle to be at when you're talking about this pin.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ideal in a way. Slightly uphill, wind off your left. Just put it at the center of the pole and it should go in. Wow, Ganon way overplayed that.
Certainly not the miss you would expect to see from Ganon in this scenario.
Not at all. He powered through that one.
And normally in a situation like that, you're thinking about water or something. You might come in low, being tentative, and he just launched it off the top. Longquist is going to be the lone birdie on the card. We'll take the honors with that.
Yeah, I mean, and in no way am I judging or questioning what Ganon did. I just think that it was, you know, just a misfire out of his hand. That was a lot of speed.
And albeit a short comebacker, this one still has some danger if this doesn't go in.
You know, that putt that he just executed right there was effectively the one he needed on the previous putt as well.
Here's where Wysocki is on the deep side of the pin.
Guess what it's going to do.
And Williams is in for the par. And speaking of par, Redalen's going to need to get up and down to save a par here. It's coming in hot. Oh no. Redalen way deep in circle 2. He'll need to connect from about 60 feet to save par. Callaway with his second on the 18th.
Definitely going for it.
Looks really good.
See
dude.
if he can get over. Oh yeah.
Huge pull by Callaway.
What a shot.
He'll have that left for a share of the lead at 14 under.
Yeah, that's impressive from Callaway. So 5 under for the final 4 holes. Tie Kyle Klein. You heard Ganon talking about how bad his tee shot was. I think he wants to push it a little farther up the fairway so that he can have a much better angle throwing his second shot, like we saw from Redalen moments ago. So the more left you are, the more of a kind of a hyzer you can throw on the second shot. Versus the more right you are, you have to kind of play with an angle, kind of a flex. A lot more difficult with the out of bounds on the left side.
I feel like Wysocki and Ganon will have similar angles as you were just talking about as they pushed over to the right side. Feels like landing on the FPO tee pad is really the ideal spot to be.
Yes.
This is for Redalen to save the par after way too much par on the previous shot. Well, if there's a hole that's going to bite you, hole 14 seems to be a likely one to do just that, but Redalen had his chance to save par. And let's take a look here at 14.
Yeah, so you can see we're coming out the gap here, and as we start to come around the corner, we're going to start to see the rest of the fairway. If you look at the map on the right, you can see all that out of bounds on the left side. You see how if you're far right over here, how that angle becomes sort of a flex shot. If you're off to the left over by that FPO tee pad, as Terry was talking about, now you can throw a hyzer flip and try to get into the fairway. There's no reason to try to get it way out there. You're not going to get to the pin. This is a great landing zone for the second shot. And then you have that third shot heading into the green. And we just saw from Cole Redalen, it slopes away behind the basket very, very quickly. And that is a big slope. So if you can check it up just about 15 to 20 feet short of the pin, you should be able to play that ground play and keep it close to the basket. Either way, it is a good birdie. 4 shots here on hole number 14.
Gavin with his third.
Nice job by Rathbun.
He would go on to convert that for the birdie.
So great view from up above. You see Ganon right here in the middle. We're going to go to Longquist first.
This is pulled to the right. Williams in big trouble if that doesn't kick back out.
Yeah, that's the common mistake because you're trying to avoid going out of bounds left. I think to make birdie here and at times to even make par, you have to be willing to commit to going potentially out of bounds on that second shot. You just have to try to get as much distance as you can. I think for Buhr here, he's just going to play it nice and safe. Very nice. Although he could have put himself a little farther away from that OB line.
You'll have options of both forehand and backhand.
I know. I'm glad.
I did it myself.
That's fine.
Wysocki will also drop it right into the center of the fairway.
I mean, it really is a cool hole back there because it does force the players to sort of decide on how aggressive they want to get, as well as up here on 18 for Ben Callaway to tie the lead. Eagle opportunity here.
Count it. Ben Callaway, a share of the lead now at 14 under. Closes out with an eagle.
Man, I remember Ben Callaway back this year at Jonesboro with a great chance to win. Things unraveling at the end. Can this week be the week for Ben Callaway? In 2 weeks, Callaway will be competing, I'm sure, in Des Moines, of which he's a native Iowa player. But pretty great round from Ben Callaway.
Ben with a lower PDGA number. Not that I'm too worried about anyone else kicking them off, so to speak, that lead card. But Ben will be in pole position most likely in terms of teeing off tomorrow. Him and Kyle Klein both sitting at 14 under. And with that, Ben Callaway ties the end of a hot round that we're seeing here. 14 under. Nice work. Back with one of his own, Calvin Longquist. We'll push left side. There is a ridge on that left side. See if that kept him in bounds. Now Redalen up ahead on the 15th.
Don't see any way that Longquist just stayed in bounds, but we'll find out. Great shot from Redalen. Very committed. Perfect position. All right, so Bradley Williams, Terry, getting a little bit lucky. As we've seen in years past, the right side of this fairway is so thick. And then there's the Mississippi Ripper running over there as well.
Opportunity for Williams to still get up and down for the par. And coming off the eagle to get to 14 under and tied for the end of a hot round. We've got Ben Callaway in the clubhouse. Let's hear what he had to say.
We're joined in the clubhouse now by Ben Callaway. Ben, 14 down today. Just tell us about it.
Yeah, things were clicking today. Throwing the disc very well. Putting was on point. I don't know if I missed any that were inside the circle today. I know I had maybe 2 outside the circle. So, I mean, when you're flowing like that, the shots just come, and I capitalized. So it felt really, really good to shoot.
Talk about hole 18 and the idea to go for eagle. Is that always the plan on that hole?
I mean, if you're in position from off the tee, I feel like, yeah, it's a pretty gettable par 5. Unless it's crazy conditions with a massive headwind, then, you know, maybe you could probably skew from that and maybe play for birdie. But yeah, for most part, it's a green light, go for the eagle.
Is there any consideration of looking at your score going up to the tee, thinking any other score but eagle on that hole?
No, I did check scores around, I think 15, maybe 14. I think I was 9 down at that point, and I thought to myself, you know, if I can get a couple birdies here and then maybe eagle 18, tie for the lead, that would be fantastic. So that was the mindset going in. If I could eagle and tie for the lead, then I was going to go for it. So yeah, that was my mindset with it.
Great. Ben Callaway, we'll see you on lead card tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Go. Push. Push.
18 under, and like we said, hole 14 puts a halt to that conversation, but still, great round going.
This is another sketchy long look for Bradley Williams. Just that slope behind the pin comes in so quickly.
Certainly aggressive with it, and a good bit off the top.
And when we were in the drone shot, I could see the disc of Calvin, and he did stay in bounds. That's very fortunate. That was drifting very quickly over there. See about 2 paces inside circle 2, and just going to lay it up.
No attempt at making that one. You can't blame him.
Yeah, it's, you know, look, he had a bad tee shot. When he's standing over the tee shot, he's thinking, the best I can make is par, and now he has a tap in par. So I think pretty good work there from Calvin.
On point for Buhr. He'll move to 8 under. Wysocki to remain 1 ahead of Buhr's pace. He's now to 9.
Yeah, I think it's just an impressive day from Buhr and Ricky. But considering Buhr double bogeyed the second hole.
In that same neighborhood now, we see Rathbun in for birdie. Redalen to 11 under. Taking a look at where these players may shake out in terms of PDGA numbers. Sullivan Tipton, I believe, is a slightly lower number than Cole Redalen, just by a couple thousand digits, which would give Sullivan Tipton. Now, that's assuming they were to remain tied. That means Sully would have the advantage there, but Cole seems to still have some momentum going here with a few left to play.
The average of the top 20 in the final 4 holes is about 2 under. To put it in perspective as far as Redalen's score is concerned. Oh, that's a kick from Ricky. But it still went forward quite a bit.
Kicky Wysocki at it again.
I thought this was the channel where we didn't get dad jokes.
No, that's the added even premier subscription level. That gets paid right to me as we're watching Longquist go straight through the tree apparently.
I'll just walk up.
That's a misfire from Calvin. just to be hyzering off the tee shot. Wow, another tree hit.
Thanks to our friends over at Microsoft Teams, you can participate in our next Q&A giveaway with Ricky Wysocki and Katrina Allen. Submit a question by Monday, June 24th for a chance to win a free year of DGN and a disc from Gotta Go, Gotta Throw. There's the link there, or use the QR code on the bottom right side of your screen. And that will be dad joke free. I'm not part of that, so you will not be subject to any of those. But Ricky Wysocki, Katrina Allen, both on board. Perkins, I feel like we've almost underplayed how Ricky Wysocki off the course, obviously he's friendly with a lot of players. He knows Ganon Buhr very well, considers him a friend. He's even, I think, closer with Bradley Williams. Has there been any additional banter or fun things you've picked up out there on the course among these guys?
Honestly, today they've just kind of been staying in their lane. You know, Bradley and Ricky are really good friends, but both of them are kind of all business sometimes when it comes to the course, and especially at an event that they've both won in the past. There's not a ton of light banter going on right now in this opening round.
Appreciate it as we're watching Buhr with a big second shot, but not really in birdie range from there.
No, but there also wasn't a lot of danger there for Buhr. You know, there's no OB out there. He could just try to get as much distance as possible and, you know, maybe have an outside chance to make birdie from a long throw-in position. Now Redalen here on 16. We see a lot of that on 16, kind of because of the mound. A lot of the players coming in with the big hyzer, kind of that low skip up onto the mound and then kind of check roll down the hill. See that happening quite often.
Saw the drive by Rathbun, who has picked up 6 birdies in the last 7 holes. Longquist with his second. And he'll be deep of the pin, downhill look for birdie. Very short range, inside 25 feet.
Longquist just has that nice compact throw. Just not a lot of moving parts there. He's a shorter height person, but I mean, he gets a ton of power out of that compact throw.
This is veering off to the left.
It's interesting in this group with Calvin, in contrast to Ganon Buhr, who's super tall, real lanky. Effective either way, and a nice putt there by Rathbun.
It's going to make 7 of his last 8. Redalen trying to get to 12 under now. Scores of 12, 13, even 14 under, still all possible here for Redalen. Let's see if he can pick up the birdie on the 16th. Certainly does. Redalen will get to 12. A share of the lead still in the sights of Redalen. 2 holes left to play. Wysocki. Next step for him is to get to double digits. And he'll have that left to do just that. Gets a 10 under. Rathbun on the tee of 17. Lets it go early and it kicks off to the right. Just 243 on the 17th.
Sit down. Sit down.
Worried about it going deep. And out of bounds. The few mistakes we've seen from Cole today have all been with too much power. I think back to that approach a few holes back on 14 when he just threw it too hard and went right past the pin. If we have good scoring conditions, it's going to be really tough to be a contender if Williams only finishes at 6 or 7 under, somewhere in that neighborhood. With the scores that have been put up already, he would need something miraculous over the next couple of days to be back there fighting for a podium spot.
Yeah, there's really no question about that. I mean, it's that's the biggest challenge here at the Preserve. You're kind of under pressure from the very beginning, and that's a beautiful birdie from Calvin Lundquist.
Kind of that all gas, no brakes mentality.
100%. You know, if you're shooting a 5 or 6 down, you're feeling dejected, right? Because there's 30 players between you and the top of the leaderboard. You know, it's kind of one of those things like, today I shot a 9 down. It's kind of a so-so round. You birdied half the holes. But that's just what it is here out at the Preserve. Chance for eagle from Luke Taylor.
Get to 11 under. Confident. Not a problem. Luke Taylor finishes with eagle. Jones also an eagle look. And Kevin Jones is in. And Kevin Jones, earlier in the round, made the announcement that he is now playing for Team Innova.
I've seen a lot of things in my career, but one of them is not a guy changing in the dead middle of the season. And that's not that bad of a round for Kevin Jones. First day under the new sponsorship. Nice back 9.
Ultimately 1 out of bounds. And finishes at that 7 under, including the eagle to close out.
Now, the bigger number to me is sort of that 0% from circle 2. We know how good Kevin is from jump putt Jones range. Unable to connect today from circle 2.
So the good news about going out of bounds just deep of this pin is it's actually still very close to the basket. This is a putt you would expect Cole Redalen to make 9.9 times out of 10. Thanks for not making me look dumb, Cole. Appreciate that. I know it's a tall task, but gets it on the lockdown. So Cole with a par, he'll move into 18, maybe that much more aggressively looking for an eagle. But now with Wysocki, just a stock shot all day long here for Wysocki, trying to get to 11 under. Asking for it not to roll. It does a little, just as you called it, Nate. Almost every disc does just that.
Yeah, it's just the nature of this mounded green. Kind of the ideal spot is to really check up about 20 feet short of the pin, 20 to 15 feet short of the pin, and just kind of check into the front side of the hill. A lot of the players try to throw these big, wide hyzers, and that's going to leave you that 20-footer kind of all day. That's a nice job by Lundqvist coming in short of the pin.
It fights through the tree, which seems to slow it down just the right amount. All but parked for Ganon Buhr. That'll be in the 45-foot range, uphill with a headwind.
And Bradley's just had so many of those over the last 5 or 6 holes. Everything has been from that distance, and it's going to be hard to score out here at the Preserve if you're not putting yourself inside circle 1 on nearly every hole. That being said, the 2 leaders of the tournament, one of them and Kyle Klein went 3 from 5, and Ben Callaway went 2 of 3 from circle 2. So good circle 2 putting today. But you can see most of the work is done from inside the circle.
And let's take a look at Nate's keys for closing, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, I guess I was just talking about it, Terry. Tee shot execution, you want to put yourself inside circle 1 in regulation. That is where the money is made here out at the Preserve, and must get birdies. I mean, especially in these conditions. You look at 15, 16, 17, and 18. As a player, you feel like you should be 4 under par playing those 4 holes, and today that is certainly the case. If you look at the leaders of the tournament, all of them birdied almost every single one of those holes. Only Kyle Klein parred here on 16. Otherwise, they would have birdied every single hole to finish the round.
Eruption for Lundqvist, picking up the birdie on 16. Oh, looked like maybe he held on to it a little too long as it released out of his hand, coming in that high right side chain, but Wysocki gets it to drop. Ganon will answer with a birdie of his own.
I mean, kind of depending on what Cole does on 18. We can see Ricky on the lead card tomorrow. Depending on what he does, of course.
Oh my.
Well, that's the best tee shot we've seen so far today on our coverage. And 100% a green light for Gavin Rathbun. Same thing here for Cole Redalen. That's huge.
And he loves it. Big drive for Redalen.
Terry, he's 50 feet behind where Kyle Klein laid up to on his second shot. That's how big of a shot that was from Cole. So a chance for eagle for Redalen if he can put it in close. And a chance to tie the leaders.
And looking at everyone on that top 10, or at least everyone in front of Wysocki, he would have the lower PDGA number coming in at the 38,000. So Wysocki would get any tiebreaker if he were to find himself in a position of bumping somebody off of the lead card. But first he's going to need to pick up a couple more birdies. That's a good start. Circle's edge. Perkins, you talked to so many players yesterday during the presser, and you asked almost all of them about what hot scores might be. Is there anything that surprised you about how this is shaking out today so far?
Now, when the rain held off and there was no wind out here today, I think everybody in this tournament knew that the numbers could be what they are today. And if Cole can get the eagle, and if Rick can get this birdie and the eagle, we might have 4 people at 14, and that's just the way things go out here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Incredible.
Redalen lining up his second shot.
I mean, again, without wind being a factor for Cole, it's really just about picking a point in the sky that you want to hit, let that disc break right towards that pin. Distance is not a problem.
Oh, not far from skipping it in as they were calling for it.
That was perfect execution from Cole Redalen. He picked that point in the sky. Perfect speed. As Nate Perkins said, this is just how it is on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Redalen does have a lower PDGA number than Kyle Klein, so when it comes to the 14s, he's going to jump in front of him.
Rathbun finding the front face of that golf bunker, but still within range to make birdie, or excuse me, to make eagle, as that was his second shot.
Longquist in for birdie. Moments before that, Ganon Buhr laid up.
Whoa, shocking miss from Ricky. completely unexpected. You could see it in his reaction.
The one thing I was worried about, those low-hanging branches on that left side, then you're putting to an elevated basket. They almost always come into play over there. And this time preventing Williams from finding chain. So we're going to watch this final feature card play this hole just 1 under. Not exactly what we would expect. And that means that Wysocki will need an eagle to put himself onto the lead card tomorrow. A birdie keeps him on chase card. An eagle will put him on the lead card. The 18th is coming up on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Tone technology by Clash Discs.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Back with Ricky Wysocki. Again, doing the math. If Wysocki eagles, he's on lead card. Is that in position? Perkins, does that put Wysocki still in position?
Yeah, Ricky didn't get all of that right there. He was looking for some turn at the top of the flight, and it just started to fade out. But if he throws another like 480 hyzer, he can definitely get up and down for an eagle.
Yeah, Perkins, just a few groups back, Ben Calloway put in a similar position as Ricky and went on to eagle. And, well, that's for sure eagle range for Ganon. If Ganon Buhr eagles here on 18, he goes to 11 under par, he would be on the chase card. He double bogeyed the second hole of the tournament. And I think that just goes to show you where Ganon Buhr is right now in his game. Kind of even on an off day, he's going to be near the lead card heading into day two.
Yeah,
pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, patience, resilience, all of those things come to mind. And battling back, like you said, after the double bogey. Here's Gavin. And he's in for eagle. He's going to move to 11 under.
I would say pretty resilient round for Gavin Rathbun. I mean, through 8 holes, he was 2 under par. Went on to shoot 11. That's pretty good.
Redalen secures himself on a lead card tomorrow.
Gotta love Casey and his energy that he brings.
Yeah, Casey also finished with an eagle, but Casey White is in at 6 under for the day. So solid work out here as we're watching Cole Redalen, Kyle Klein, and Ben Calloway all at 14 under. Comes down to Ricky Wysocki and Isaac Robinson in terms of who will round out this lead card. Interesting to see nobody at 12, and Wysocki's hoping to not be the only guy at 12 under.
Yeah, you kind of expect that at the worst, Ricky's going to be at 12. Ricky only about 40 feet ahead of Bradley Williams. Bradley laying it up. But, Ricky's got that big power.
Wysocki going for the green.
Does not like it. He pulled it way right. He's got to get lucky. There's an OB line on the right side. Wow, that is lucky. Look at that back corner.
So Wysocki is still inbounds. You have a very long look for the eagle. Could be just the birdie, which will put him on the top of the second card. That would get him to 12 under if so. Longquist. Does it have the speed to get over? It does.
Wow.
Just off the wood chips for Longquist.
I gotta say, overall, I'm very impressed with Calvin Longquist. He's got that nice compact throw. He's a good putter. He also seems very resilient as well. I mean, he double bogeyed the second hole. He has that putt to shoot 9 under today. Not that bad.
Chalk that up for Ganon Buhr.
I realize that to par, that for our fans at home, and even for us here in the booth, I'll get back to it, Terry.
Well, what we can also use right now and realize is 20% off your first full month. Use the code PRESERVE20. Go ahead and click on that QR code and make sure you check us out. We hope you've enjoyed some programming. If you're watching us on YouTube here today, I invite you to join us over on the Disc Golf Network. And if you have a touchscreen, you can just press the button on your touchscreen and that'll bring you right to it. It's some fancy technology we're working on here. As Bradley Williams, after going out of bounds, trying to still put it right there. Williams is going to check up next to the pin.
So Williams, while trying to lay up, threw out of bounds. That's a big mistake there from Bradley.
Yeah. And want to throw it out to our clubhouse interview. It looks like we've got Cole Redalen lined up. Let's see what he has to say.
Joining us in the clubhouse now is Cole Redalen. 14 down today. Cole, how does that feel?
Feels great. Yeah, I mean, I'm really sad I couldn't be at my brother's military graduation this weekend, and I just still decided to play this tournament. So it feels really good to come out strong and play for him.
There's 2 other 14 downs on the card. What was so perfect today for the conditions for scoring?
I really just think it's the increased difficulty in the field. I mean, last year I'm not entirely sure what made lead card, but I think it was 12. And so, yeah, this year just you got to start out hot. And with the winds down today, they're pretty down today. So it was up to you to execute the shot and make your putt.
Leading into today, all we heard was about rain and lightning and potential delays. How does the mindset shift when the weather doesn't hit, when you may be mentally preparing for it?
Yeah, I mean, I came prepared, and thankfully the weather just didn't come. I just came out here looking to play my game, and regardless of what the weather was going to do, I just had my focus on what I was going to do during the round, and I would have adjusted accordingly according to the weather, but thankfully today it stayed off.
And lastly, what's the goal for tomorrow?
Yeah, just stay in the race. You got to get a lot of birdies out here, so just keep pace with the rest of the guys up there, and hopefully make a move on Sunday.
That's Cole Redalen. We'll see him on lead card tomorrow.
Great insight. We saw Wysocki's bid come up just short. As they're tapping out, any last parting shots from you, Nate Perkins, before we let you go?
I mean, amongst the MPO and FPO, we're talking hundreds of birdies. But Terry, I think the mosquitoes still slightly outnumbered the birds out here at the preserve today. But you know, all jokes aside, it was a great day for the game, and I love, you know, Kale LaVisca's vision out here. He really does want the players to play free, and when the wind is down, that's exactly what they get to do out here, and it's going to be a shootout all weekend long.
Appreciate you, Nate, and as we can follow along with more insights and thoughts from Nate Perkins over there on Tournament Central. Make sure you guys stay tuned in for that. And there you have it, your lead card tomorrow. Ben Calloway, Cole Redalen, Kyle Klein, and Isaac Robinson. Tournament Central, people hanging out. Vendor Village, plenty of activity going on out there at the preserve. I think it's only going to get more rambunctious over the next couple of days, hopefully. As we take a look back at some of our highlights and favorite shots from round one. Hours earlier, Kyle Klein was doing work so that he could get to 14 under. Redalen, no problem with the approach shot on 4. As you said, that may have been a catalyst to get him going and on track. Isaac Robinson closed out strong with 6 consecutive birdies, including the 18th. Wysocki just sprinkling birdies throughout the entire round. At one point had a 5-hole stretch of birdies. Ben Calloway had all birdies and 1 eagle on the 18th en route to a 14 under. And Kelvin Longquist from way deep. Too deep to even run it in. He's just going to stroll that one in. Welcome back in, everyone. Nate, some really hot scores. Anything you can take away from round one so far?
Well, I think regardless of whether you're playing a course that is very difficult and you have to try to avoid bogeys, I also like playing a course like this that requires the players to be pinpoint, make putts, and make birdies. And today it was very entertaining, and I had a ton of fun watching it. I look forward to the rest of the weekend. If the weather can hold off, I think we have something very special in store for us.
Some low winds, but high mosquitoes. We'll see how that continues to shake out throughout the rest of the weekend. We're going to take a quick break here on the network, and when we come back, we'll have our OTB Only the Best after show along with the shot of the day. We'll see you in a minute.
Get your homing pigeon disc finder today because a disc in the hand is worth two in the bush.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your disc golf warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, shirts, and more. GottaGoGottaThrow.com has all the tools to take your game to the next level. Shop online or our Golden Valley, Minnesota store. Free shipping with all online orders over $75. Online or in-store, get what you need for the game you love. GottaGoGottaThrow.com, your disc golf warehouse. In the game since 1993.
Introducing the Birdie Derby, a ready-to-run tournament package from Prodigy Disc. It's the perfect 3-disc tournament to welcome new players and give experienced throwers something new to try. Running a Birdie Derby is a great way to engage your local community and discover new discs in a ready-to-go package. Learn more and host a derby today at discgolfderby.com.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be. Let's start from the beginning. I didn't choose Pound, I chose Levi. I trusted Levi to make the best bag possible.
He's always trying to innovate. He wants it to be perfect. And I think he's the kind of guy that nothing's ever perfect.
I trust the product, I trust the people behind the product.
At this point, I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
EDGE is a nationally recognized 501c3 charitable organization.
What we do is we empower the teachers with complete programming along with the equipment and a standardized curriculum. So you have a one-stop shop for teachers and youth educators. That's really what EDGE is. It makes everything simple for the teacher to get involved with disc golf.
If we want disc golf to be recognized, we need to introduce disc golf to the youth. And if nothing else, they've got a healthy game that they can enjoy with their families throughout the rest of their lives.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And Tournament Central comes right up after our broadcast here in the booth with Nate and I. You can check out Tournament Central if you're a DGN Pro subscriber. Ricky Wysocki and others, along with some additional analysis and breakdown, all available over at Tournament Central as a DGN Pro subscriber. And as always, the Preserve provided some excitement here today. The winds were down. We all say that when the winds pick up out there, players have to make some adjustments. All of a sudden, some of the holes that don't really feel like they have OBs can come into play, and everyone has to kind of pull things back a little bit. But tomorrow, if we're dry again and we have low winds, we should expect to see more of the same, right?
Yeah, no question about it. When you really look at the top 10 leaderboard, two names jump out at me. Well, really maybe three. Ben Calloway is number one. He's at the top of the board right now. So close to winning in Jonesboro. Still has not gotten that big win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Could this weekend be his? I also look at Isaac Robinson, who has not had a really great event this year. Could this be the one that he finally breaks through and plays well for 3 rounds? But also Ganon Buhr. That's the other name that jumps out at me there too, because Ganon is going for that 3-in-a-row run, which is so, elusive and hard to get. So a lot of great storylines, a lot of great players at the top. But, you're going to have to go low. I think even with some wind, assuming it's dry, the double digits is still that number to get to.
Yeah, and, even in the press conference, they talked about if you don't come out hot, yes, you can make up, but you can only make up so much. I mean, even if you shoot a scorching 15 under, 16 under, somebody else is probably shooting those 10, 11, and 12. So you have to come out of the gate strong. That's what we saw by a number of these players today. That's not to say anyone's officially ruled out, and we'll see what the conditions give us tomorrow, but you have to be going from the get-go, so to speak, just right out of the gate, all systems firing tomorrow, and we'll see who can do that. We saw a couple of change-ups today. We saw not only someone like Kevin Jones, came out, not only had his announcement, but then birdies the first 2 holes, and then you compare and contrast that to the struggles. Longquist with the double bogey, Ganon Buhr, double bogey on 2. Of all places to see double bogeys on this course, you wouldn't think hole 2 is one that would trip them up the way that it did, but both of them so impressively battled back slowly throughout the entire round, and now you see Ganon right there tied for 6. Obviously a contender.
Yeah, no question about it, man. It's going to be good stuff. AB's right there just outside just at the bottom of the top 10 leaderboard, so he could become a factor. And there's a few guys just sitting off our top 10 leaderboard. Drew Gibson's in there, James Conrad's in there. Somebody could pop off a good one tomorrow and find themselves right in that lead card.
If I'm not mistaken, in the early goings of this tournament, going back 3-4 years ago, James Conrad might have been, or it might even still be, one of those course record holders at that 14-15 mark. Again, different configuration. But if I recall, he was one of the hottest rounds out here on this property a few years ago. And then, you already made that comparison. Think about Callaway at Jonesboro. We also have seen what James Conrad did at Jonesboro a few years ago with his hot score. So you can never count out a world champion in James Conrad. What we can count on is our OTB, only the best shot of the day. I know you love to call out a few of the nominees. We saw some incredible shots. What's sticking out at you now that we've seen everyone play here today?
Well, early on, it was definitely that Redalen shot on hole number 4. That was incredible from out of position to be that close to the basket. But I think I'm going to give it to Calvin Longquist. That big, long putt, I think it was on hole 12 from the little ridge line. That was an awesome-looking putt, and that's going to be my guess for the day. I'm not sure what it's going to be, though.
All right. We also saw a bunch of eagle approaches, or that set themselves up for eagles on the 18th.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you got to love when you finish out with an eagle. I like the Longquist take that you had there, but let's roll it. We'll take a look at our OTB, only the best shot of the day. Let's see what was selected. Oh, and there it is. Exactly as you called it. From way deep, some awkward footing on the hillside. Take another look from the other side to the elevated pin.
I also think roar of the day from the crowd. The crowd definitely on Calvin's side today, and that was a good one.
Let's see if he can battle back and have a solid day out here tomorrow in his home state. And speaking of tomorrow, at 9:30 a.m. Central is when coverage begins. That'll be coming to you with our Tournament Central for your pro subscribers, and then at 3 p.m. Central for the MPO round. For Nate Perkins out on the ground, along with Nate Doss, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you tomorrow for day 2 at the Preserve Championship.